McNamara.
Thanks very much, Mark. Yeah, there's been some decent games already today, hasn't there? But we've been very much looking forward to this one. Chelsea against Aston Villa, underway at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea in their traditional blue, Aston Villa in their claret and light blue. Donyell Mallon starting, preferred to Ollie Watkins at the spearhead of the Aston Villa attackers. Unai Emery's team go in search of an 11th victory in a row. Rob Green alongside me. I think many are sort of afraid to bring them into the equation, but if they keep this up, even one or two more wins, they have to be regarded as being in the title race, Villa.
Well, one or two more wins in immediate future. Chelsea tonight, Arsenal on Tuesday. Massive games for Aston Villa. Really big opportunity tonight.
Chelsea come on the attack down the right-hand side. We'll give you a full rundown of the teams in just a moment, but both coaches have made two changes to their most recent games. Neto fails to control a pass from Reece James. So here's how Chelsea line up. Robert Sanchez in goal. Reece James, who played midfield last time out against Newcastle, drops back to right back today. Malo Gusto on the bench. Benoit Badiashile comes in for Fofana. He partners Trevor Chalobah in the centre. Marc Cucurella, as usual, on the left-hand side. Then it's Enzo Fernandez back into the team in midfield alongside Moise Caicedo, with Neto, Palmer and Garnacho as an attacking three in support of João Pedro, who leads the Chelsea attack up front. The Villa team, two changes to their most recent game, which was the victory against Manchester United last Sunday at Villa Park. Martinez in goal, Cash, Konza, Lindelof and Maatsen are the back four. It's only a second start in the Premier League for Villa for Victor Lindelof, as Sanchez put under pressure from Morgan Rogers, clears the ball away, left-footed here. Kamara alongside Tielemans in the midfield. McGinn, Buendia, who comes into the team today, and Rogers behind Donyell Mallon, who leads the attack. This is Pedro Neto on the attack for Chelsea down the right-hand side. Cole Palmer, number 10 on his back. Sleeves rolled down and grasped in between his fingertips as he likes to do. Tries to pirouette. Oh, brilliant touch, Palmer. Edge of the area, shoots! And off the outside of his left boot, it goes across the face of goal and wide. It's a big chance for Chelsea with 2 minutes played, and Villa breathe a huge sigh of relief.
Yeah, massive chance of Cole Palmer. He should do better. It's wonderful from him initially. Great touch to bring him himself into the penalty area. It's almost too relaxed. It was a waft of the leg. It was kind of almost just too lackadaisical in the strike, in the volley. Cole Palmer, not as you would imagine him. Those sort of chances, you see him tucking them away. But it's interesting to see Aston Villa's line-up. It's almost in a 4-4-2 with Morgan Rogers up front, with Donyell Mallon as a straight 4-4-2. That should bring more space for Cole Palmer in that attacking inside right role. And looking at Youri Tielemans having to look over his shoulder at the minute. They're outnumbered in there initially. I wonder whether they're going to have to change, because Morgan Rogers is kind of superfluous up there when they haven't got the ball.
This is 5 Live at BBC Sounds, the Premier League. It is Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 0 at Stamford Bridge. Very much the early stages of this 5:30 kickoff, but already Chelsea with a big chance to take the lead. And Cole Palmer, who scored against Villa in this game last season, he scored the third of Chelsea's 3 in a 3-0 win that day. But he's only scored 3 goals in total this campaign, Cole Palmer. A lot of injury problems, of course, but just 2 Premier League and 1 Champions League, which, compared to recent seasons, is a paltry sum. Chelsea have possession on the right-hand side with Pedro Neto. He tries to take on Buendia. What acceleration from Neto. From that standing start, he cruises away for the Argentinian, gets to the corner flank down the right-hand side, pulls it back for Reece James. First time cross into the centre, sits up for Cucurella on the edge of the D, appeals to the Villa fans that he handled it. Referee says play on. Garnacho gets possession on the left-hand side. John McGinn comes leaning into him and sends the Manchester United loney all the way, or former Manchester United player, back to the halfway line. Cucurella, good early ball to the right-hand side. Chelsea have started with this game well. Neto to Cole Palmer, into the penalty area, pulls it back for Kamara, and he's able to clear away for Aston Villa. And now maybe the chance of a counter-attack for Morgan Rogers. It's still early stages, but this all bodes well. The way the game has started as Reece James slides in on Morgan Rogers, who's got a lot of hype about him at the moment. He's on a great run of goal-scoring form, but Reece James was able to shut him down there as Tielemans wins it back in the midfield. Villa playing from left to right as we look down. Kamara, no chance to breathe. Enzo Fernandez snapping in. João Pedro comes back to help, and you can hear the roar of the Chelsea fans as their team are getting stuck in, and they give it to Garnacho down down the left-hand side. Level with the edge of the penalty area. Right foot across his tame. Needed more elevation. Tielemans should be able to clear here. And it's still Chelsea nil, Aston Villa nil as Mallon goes in pursuit. But Badiashile cuts it out. Poor touch from Badiashile though. He's given it to Morgan Rogers. Edge of the penalty area. Tries to bring it back in onto his left boot. And Badiashile makes amends. Rob Green.
Just about makes amends. Just off his leg, just a fraction at the right time. You're thinking, don't leave it out there. Don't leave it as a tempter for Morgan Rogers to fall over. But he just about judges it really well. It's such an open game, Connor, from the start. It's really interesting tactically. In that 4-4-2, Villa are holding so narrow. John McGinn's almost sat in front of Matty Cash. They're worried about Cucurella and Enzo Fernandez bombing on. That's leaving Garnacho a bit of space, but it's down the right of Chelsea where they're having options, where Cole Palmer's drifting out there. And then on the counter-attack, Villa are there because they're leaving two up front.
5 minutes played at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea nil, Villa nil. Chelsea lose it on the edge of their opponent's penalty area. Kamara though gives it away immediately again. High turnover of possession in the early stages here as Badiashile sprays it to the left wing to the blonde-haired Garnacho. That's a great ball in. Neto arriving at the back post and Ian Matson covering inside his own 6-yard box is able to head it away from danger, and then he plays a 1-2 and Matson's trying to counter-attack, but Reece James cantering back gets there first and plays it all the way back to Robert Sanchez. Chelsea nil, Villa nil.
Well, that's two already from Reece James on the counter-attack that he stepped in, important interventions, and he's going to be knackered if he has to keep on doing this, because he's the one, he's in midfield, stepping from right back, stepping into midfield almost alongside Moises Caicedo from the third-sided centre-half, the right-sided centre-half from right back, so he's got 3 or 4 roles in one, Reece James, as well as the emergency cover as well.
You can see why Chelsea want to put a bit of pace into the game in the early stages. This fixture which pits the Premier League's young bucks against the old heads. Chelsea, the youngest average age team of the Premier League this season. Aston Villa, who've been the oldest. And Chelsea may be hoping to outrun their more experienced opponents if they can, as Chalobah gives it to Pedro Neto on the right-hand side, midway into Villa territory. Short ball to the feet of Cole Palmer, never looked comfortable over it. Caicedo though takes charge, gives it back out to the right hand side. Pedro Neto, chance to look up, plays it short to Cole Palmer. Buendia back helping out the defence. Palmer plays in a low cross, which is well reacted to by Ezri Konsa, and all he can do is put it out for a Chelsea throw down the right hand side.
It's down that Chelsea right. They look so dangerous because Emi Buendia doesn't really know whether to stick or twist.
Caicedo, another lovely touch. Reece James lofts one in. Garnacho one mark to the far post, but it sails over his head and it bounces out of play for a goal kick to Aston Villa. Still Chelsea nil, Aston Villa nil here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. And earlier on today, Manchester City winning a close game at the City Ground, 2-1 away against Nottingham Forest. Arsenal winning 2-1 at home against Brighton. There was also a win for Liverpool, 2-1 at home against Wolves, and it all means that Arsenal still top of the table, 42 points. Manchester City 2 points behind them. Villa third. Liverpool have moved up in between Villa and Chelsea. Chelsea knocked back to 5th place here at kick-off as the referee blows the whistle for a foul on Boubacar Kamara. That's a free kick to Aston Villa, 15 yards inside their own half. 0-0.
Upended by Moises Caicedo. He's fortunate not to get a yellow card because, again, it was another breakaway in their own half for Aston Villa. But because Chelsea is so high, because they're just leaving the 2 centre-backs at the back, the break there, the temptation is there for Villa just to go. And it's such a tantalising proposition for both sides at the minute because both teams are leaving it there for the other team.
Enzo Maresca serving a 1-match touchline ban today. Picked up a 3rd domestic caution of the season against Newcastle last weekend. It's his 2nd ban of the season actually for Maresca. You might remember he was shown a red card in the late win against Liverpool in October. So he is watching from up in the stands today as Caicedo goes into the back of John McGinn, and that is a free kick to Villa 10 yards outside their penalty area.
Well, don't worry, Connor, because Willie Caballero, my old teammate's down in the dugout. He's in the technical area and looks very similar. So yeah,
it does. From a distance it looks just the same. If you said from our angle we're high up from behind, that's Maresca, you go, yeah, sure.
Well, I know Willie, so I know which team is that.
Good touch header back from Chalobah to Robert Sanchez away to our right hand side. This is Badiashile, only his 4th Premier League start, not of the season but of the calendar year 2025. We haven't seen much of Badiashile. Villa might try and target him today. Sanchez rolling it to the Frenchman here. Just outside his own penalty area. Chelsea playing from right to left as we look down. Plays a little 1-2 with Cucurella back to Robert Sanchez once again. So Chelsea, after a blustery start in these opening 10 minutes, now looking to assert a bit of control and a bit more patience in possession.
Yeah, you're looking, and they've worked it out now. They're working out that Moises Caicedo is going to drop in. He's the one centrally, he's going to get the space.
Here comes Cucurella down the left-hand side. Garnacho does a nutmeg of his own teammate, which I feel is a very Garnacho thing to do, and then he rolls it back to Badiashile on the halfway line.
He should get lots of joy tonight. He should get the opportunity to do what he wants to do, because John McGinn and Matty Cash, they're just plonked in the same space, basically.
Yes, Chelsea trying to come down the right-hand side. Maatsen is covering Neto. The loose ball falls for Cole Palmer, down close to the corner flag that Chelsea are attacking, and he draws in the foul from Buendia. Buendia, who has started this game very energetically, but he's gone in too forcefully on Cole Palmer there, and that is a free kick in a crossing position. It's basically a corner for Chelsea here on the right-hand side.
Yeah, much as I was saying about John McGinn just plonking himself in front of Matty Cash, and Buendia's not doing that in front of Maatsen. He's back and forth. He doesn't really know that left-hand side role. He's an attacking midfielder. He can do out on the left, but in the defensive shape, would you trust him in midfield? Well, he's been trusted tonight. I think Chelsea will get joy down there.
So attacking set piece for Chelsea. Reece James, who scored a brilliant free kick against Newcastle last weekend. This is not a shooting position, so he'll leave it for Pedro Neto. Comes in low, too low, headed down by Maatsen and cleared away by Malin. Villa had everyone back inside their own penalty area defending that, so there's no one to pick it up, and the ball goes out of play for a throw-in on the far side, which Chelsea have taken already. This is Chalobah on the halfway line, giving it short to Moises Caicedo. Caicedo to the near touchline to Enzo Fernandez, one of the two changes for Maresca in the Chelsea lineup this evening. Caicedo plays again that same angled ball, but this time Neto wasn't scampering after it, and it goes out of play. Chelsea, after a very promising start here, have just lost their way a little bit. There's a few misplaced passes, mistimed challenges, and they'll need to just recalibrate the flow here.
Yeah, I think they just need to, Chelsea, from their perspective, when they had a lot of short passes into it and then link up wide, that's when you get your bodies out there. They can see that Villa are so narrow that the space is there. Just hit it, just hit your man out wide. Well, when you do that, your man's out there, but he's on his own.
Again, Chelsea look to Pedro Neto again. Maatsen gets there first. Buendia back helping him out. Good strength from Buendia, who's not tall, but he's sturdy when he needs to be. Neto keeps the ball in play right by the chalk of the touchline, right-hand side, and Chelsea work it back into the centre circle. Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 0. 5 Live, BBC Sounds in the World Service, and this is possession with Caicedo. Back into Badiashile, swings it out to the right-hand side. Now maybe a bit more room for Neto. Maatsen comes across to try and cover. Did well actually to get right in the face of Pedro Neto. Blocks the attempted cross. Neto tries to resuscitate the move but is unable to do so. And Villa going to try and work their way out of defence. So this is Kamara, still 20 yards inside his own half. But he's spotted some space and he tries to play it in. But Cucurella with a really important interception because Matty Cash would have been away. That was dangerous from Villa, but Chelsea snuffed out the danger as Garnacho picks it up just outside the penalty area. Left-hand side, he's got Cucurella close by him for company. Takes it to the byline, Garnacho. Now back to Cucurella, right-footed cross. Ezri Konsa heads it straight up into the air. Buendia tries to take it down. It didn't look like there was enough room to do that, but he was able to control it, and then Cucurella hammers into Morgan Rogers right in front of the referee. But Stuart Atwell, who's in charge tonight, says that's no foul and play on.
So Chelsea showing real control on the ball, a lot of time on the ball. The counter's looking really dangerous for Aston Villa, but then the counter from Chelsea when they do win it back is it looking equally as dangerous. So you can see where the game is. The game is waiting from a Chelsea perspective. Villa waiting when they haven't got the ball, and then it's both teams just going for it.
Aston Villa absorbing early pressure here, but Unai Emery's team have only lost once in the league since August. You look back to their results back at the start of the campaign, and Villa actually started this season so badly. It's been incredible how they've been able to turn it around. Free kick here given to Chelsea, and there's been a dramatic reaction from Marc Cucurella. This wasn't for the challenge. In the aftermath, John McGinn sort of raises his hands to his chest, and like an acrobat or a gymnast, falling off at the beam or something, Cucurella hits the deck and the hair was flying through the air, and Stuart Atwell's got to come across and calm everything down.
You wanted to say clown, didn't you?
You see, you probably could say that. I'm far more respectful and neutral than that, you know.
It was a comedic fall from from Marc Cucurella, who's now having a chat with Unai Emery, who's taken a little bit of exception to it. But I think most listeners can picture the scene if you think of Marc Cucurella and the pantomime villain that he is.
He's behind you as the free kick was always going to be Chelsea's, but it was the theatrics in the aftermath that led to the little bit of drama there. Anyway, play back underway. 0-0 between Chelsea and Villa in the Premier League. Third against fifth as things stand, and Garnacho gets shut down forcefully by Matty Cash, and the away fans from Villa, who are housed away to our left hand side, they enjoyed that. No twinkle toes from Garnacho there. He was thudded straight away as soon as he got a touch, and the ball went out for a throw-in. Chelsea work it all the way back to Sanchez away to our right hand side. Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 0. 6:06 to come later on this evening on 5 Live. This is Trevor Chalobah in possession, his 100th Premier League appearance. You'd actually think that the success he's had would be higher number than that for Trevor Chalobah. There's a long clearance is played by Sanchez. He was trying to release João Pedro, but Lindelof, aware of the danger, cut it out for Aston Villa. Kamara's got no room in the midfield. Enzo Fernandez wins it back off him. This is Cucurella, centre circle for Chelsea. Immediately plays it out to the right-hand side to Pedro Neto. Maatsen and Buendia come across to do their double-up job on him. This is Casado again in a more central location. Now back to Badiashile near the centre circle. Villa with all 11 players back behind the ball, and we've reached 16 minutes on the big stadium clock. Neto again, down the right. A lot of left foot touches though from the Portuguese international. Always looking to cut back inside. Reece James gives it to Trevor Chalobah. Chelsea predominantly down that right-hand side in the early stages, as Rob has been mentioning. Garnacho just sort of giving looks infield, saying, come on, give it out to me, I've got a bit of room here, as Chelsea work it back to Robert Sanchez.
Yeah, this is where they miss Fofana or Tosin with their progressive passes from centre-back. You're just feeling that Villa, when they shut the lanes down, and they are very compact in that midfield, when they can shut it down, Trevor Chalobah's not really got that range of passing, that little touch before the ball that makes it manipulate it into midfield.
Here comes Reece James over the halfway line for Chelsea. Tries to play a ball in front of João Pedro, but it clips the heels of Ian Maatsen. Villa clear it away, but they give up possession immediately. Moises Caicedo to the feet of Cole Palmer. 10 yards outside the penalty area. Charging at the D. Palmer into the box, lays it off to Garnacho. Cleverly back to Enzo Fernandez! And he should have scored. He went for the top right-hand corner, and he's put it wide. Brilliant from Palmer. Unselfish from Garnacho. And I thought that was going to be it.
Got to score from that range. Talking 14 yards all the time in the world for Enzo Fernandez to pick his spot. He looks up to the heavens now, even moments after missing the chance, and he knows what a good chance that was. And that was the counter. They went forward, lost it, won it back. Cole Palmer in space. The first time we've really seen that since the opening moments. Really big opportunity, as you say. Brilliant play from him. Good from Fernandez. Garnacho, poor from Fernandez.
Enzo Fernandez, the last 3 times he's played against Villa, he has scored in each of those 3 games. He's never scored against any other opponent more in his career than Aston Villa. Enzo Fernandez. That was a real chance.
He's still having to go at himself now. He knows. I mean, the stadium waited, didn't it? They just sat there going, go on, hit the back of the net.
What, in your opinion, Rob, was it over flamboyant? Did it need to go top corner? Could he just have
The only thing
it?
I'm thinking it was, he knows it's Martinez in goal.
Good point.
International teammate.
Good point. Here comes Neto down the right-hand side. Really dangerous cross. Cash was brave. Had to be. Enzo Fernandez has barreled into him. Cash goes down holding his head. Stuart Atwell's going to be obliged to hold this up, surely. He doesn't yet. Garnacho plays on. Cucurella in the penalty area. Down goes John McGinn trying to defend it. And eventually the ball is out of play. And Stuart Atwell, who could clearly see Matty Cash was down. He felt it wasn't a sufficient head injury to hold up play, and you don't see that very often from the referees, but he took that judgment call, which is to be respected. And Cash stays down on the edge of the 6-yard box for now, and Villa are complaining, why didn't you hold it up sooner? And the referees, I do have sympathy for them in this, that they're trying to do the right thing. You'll never keep everyone happy.
No, it's a really tough call, because he is fine. He got up and started arguing with Stuart Atwell, so in doing so kind of proved the referee's point. But at the same time, you're saying, well, it is back of the neck injury, sort of bottom of the head injury.
There's no doubt some players are using this as a tactic, and it's a tricky one, and I think they're going to have to refine how they police this. But you can't have a situation where as soon as you touch your head, the game has to stop. That's not sustainable.
No, he did get up and realise that he was miles behind play and was playing everyone onside, so then went down.
Correct.
Whether Stuart Atwell saw that or not, you kind of have to give him credit, because you're thinking, you can't kid us every time.
20 minutes played, Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 0, Stamford Bridge 5 live for the BBC. Highlights of all today's Premier League action, a match of the day later with Gabby Logan, Alan Shearer and Wayne Rooney tonight from 10:25. That's on BBC One. Caicedo makes another interception in the midfield. He's so good at that. Feeds Garnacho down the left-hand side. Garnacho plays it into the penalty area. Tielemans was back defending. Sits up for Caicedo, who shoots again. There's too many bodies in the way. Now Palmer tries to take them all on. Garnacho, he's got cash for company. This is intricate, it's congested. He gives it to Enzo Fernandez inside the penalty area. Cole Palmer gets possession stolen off him by Buendia, and then Cucurella comes lunging in on Morgan Rogers, and the referee needs eyes on the back of his head at the moment as he holds up play, and Matty Cash is down again, holding the back of his neck again.
This is chaos at times, and they were queuing up the Chelsea players, because it was Lindelof who went out and lost the ball almost in midfield, and from there it was any number of players who could have got the shot away. As you say, Connor, Matty Cash is actually struggling now, and you're thinking it's not quite right. It's not the head injury, it's back of the neck, bottom of the neck, sort of top of the spine area that he's maybe got a whack in there. He isn't quite feeling 100%.
So Matty Cash is staying on the pitch, but he's been having a word with those in the Villa technical area, and one or two of the substitutes going for a warm-up run. 0-0 here.
Looks like he needs a crack of the neck, a crack of the back, one of those.
So play is going to resume, possession for Aston Villa just outside their own penalty area. Emi Martinez, who mercifully, given the Chelsea possession and territory, hasn't had a proper save to make yet. Enzo Fernandez, who should have scored, but his attempt wide. Emi Martinez taking an age over the free kick. Chelsea fans getting on his back about that. Eventually it's played towards the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. Mallon did well initially, but then he couldn't fully control it, and Caicedo with a delicate touch to Cole Palmer, and now up to João Pedro, who tries to elude Lindelof. Lindelof did well. Villa regained possession. This is John McGinn midway inside Chelsea territory, gives it to Morgan Rogers on the right hand side. Rogers dinks one in for Buendia. That was a lovely run. Good ball too. Buendia then hooking it too high back across the face of goal. There's no one on the far side from Aston Villa, and Reece James is able to clear it away up to Pedro Neto. That was better though from Aston Villa. We've seen very little of them in attack in this game so far, midway through the first half already. Badiashile rolls it in front of Cucurella, who's on his bike here, up over the halfway line. Feeds it to Garnacho, up against Matty Cash. Step over from Garnacho into the penalty area, pulls it back, but he didn't look up. It was just played into an area that he hoped would be dangerous. He didn't try to pick out a teammate, and Villa can clear, and there's a very interesting ball here played by Buendia in front of Rogers, but good acceleration by Chalobah to sprint and get there first and touch it back to Robert Sanchez.
Aston Villa are just not using any width whatsoever. It's a really narrow 4-4-2, and then when they get it, it's a 4-2-2-2, and they're just going straight down the middle of the pitch. They're saying, we want to attack Chalobah and Badiashile, and that's all we want to do. We fancy ourselves with Morgan Rogers and Daniel Mallon up front, get at them, and that's what they want to do.
Well, Villa had a little flurry of an attack there. Good ball into the penalty area, looking for Buendia, but just seen a stat from Opta. The opening 21 minutes of this game, Aston Villa completed a single pass in Chelsea's final third. So that's how dominant Chelsea have been here. Garnacho in possession, level with the edge of the penalty area that his team are attacking, still 0-0. Caicedo has it, back to Chalobah inside the centre circle. Again, the space for Neto, who's really making the pitch as wide as possible. He's standing on the touchline the whole time. Here's a good ball in front of João Pedro. Good save, Emi Martinez. Comes back to João Pedro again. Tries to dink it back in field. There's too many defenders back there now. Buendia should clear. Not the place for ball juggling there. Tielemans under pressure from João Pedro, but the ball ultimately does go out for a goal kick. Right, that's the first proper save for Emi Martinez. He did really well.
Yeah, brilliant save, because he just had to wait, and he was coming out to block, and he just had to wait a fraction to see if João Pedro was going to get a touch, and he did, and he could have lifted over him. There's a fantastic ball in from Neto, and he's just thinking, go on, just loft it over him, but he got close enough to him just to make that block and make the save.
Joe Pedro, who scored against Newcastle last weekend. And Chelsea will be hoping that for the impressive form they've shown in the early stages of the game against the informed team of the Premier League, that they will get reward for this on the scoreboard. Unai Emery will be far more pleased this game is still 0-0 rather than Enzo Maresca.
No, they have gone behind in recent games. Thinking of the game at West Ham, and they're all over the place at the start of the game. You're thinking, well, what are you going to do? And they just stay in the game. Well, at the minute, 25 minutes in, you're thinking, wow, they've been under the pump, but they're still staying in the game.
Yeah, those powers of resuscitation have been very important to Unai Emery's team. And today looking to keep up the pressure on the top two in the Premier League with another win. What a run this has been for Aston Villa. Chalobah has possession, bang on the halfway line, gives it to the right-hand side for Chelsea to Pedro Neto. Maatsen breathing down his neck forces Chelsea back into their own half again. This is Badiashile to Chalobah. Rodgers, who's not had too many touches of the ball in these opening 25 minutes. Neto up against Maatsen down the right-hand side. Maatsen's done very well. And helped out by Tielemans here. Villa should be able to clear. Tielemans on the edge of his own penalty area, gives it away straight to Moise Caicedo. That's dangerous. Good pass to the near touchline. Chelsea's left. Garnacho's control is good initially. Then he slides. Then it sits up in front of Enzo Fernandez. Tries a left-footed shot. That's smothered. Here's Reece James unselfishly to Pedro Neto. Inside the penalty area. Pulls it back. It hits the midriff of Tielemans. And surely Villa will get it away here. Tielemans with a couple of touches and he clears. But the distribution from that final third has not been great from Villa. And they give it away again. And that means that Chelsea come again. Badiashile. Midway inside Aston Villa territory. Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 0 here on 5 Live. This is Enzo Fernandez. Back to Caicedo. Very congested on the right-hand side of the midfield area for Chelsea at the moment. Neto. Back to Badiashile again.
You can see why Aston Villa are giving it away so often. It's because they've been instructed to go fast, go forward, go quick. And it's 1v1 or 2v2.
Here's Cole Palmer, just outside the penalty area. Central location, shows too much of it to Kamara. And Villa are able to win back possession again. And Buendia trying to hook it out to the left wing, but intercepted by Chalobah. And there had been a foul on Buendia after he played the pass. Referee Stuart Atwell just waited an instant to see if there would be an advantage for Villa there. There isn't, so that's going to come back for a free kick to the visitors just inside their own territory. 27 minutes played now on the clock. Now, this is a 5:30 kickoff in the Premier League at Stamford Bridge. In the Rugby Union, there's a 5:30 kickoff, Bath against Saints. Let's get an update from correspondent Chris Jones.
Yeah, packed out wreck. Beautiful evening for rugby, Connor. Cracking first 20-odd minutes. Bath 14, Northampton 14. Northampton have rested a few, but one of their England stars, Tommy Freeman, showed up right from the off with a brilliant individual try. But Thomas Dutoy and Tom Dunn replying for Bath to give them the lead, and then Northampton have just levelled the scores. A lovely individual score from young scrum half Archie McParland. 24 gone. 14 points all. Bath 14, Northampton 14.
Elsewhere in Rugby Union today, Glasgow beat Edinburgh again to win the 1872 Cup. And they are just underway. Connacht against Ulster in the URC, and it is still scoreless there. Here at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea on top, but nothing to show for it on the scoreboard yet. As down goes Caicedo, rather blatant trip by Malin there. The referee gives the free kick to Chelsea. No further action. I thought for a moment Malin might have been in trouble for a yellow card there. Wasn't aggressive, but it was very deliberate. As Reece James has possession here, gives it back to Chalobah, now to Badiashile. 11 men behind the ball for an Aston Villa team that have had to defend with a lot of concentration in this first half. Garnacho on the left wing up against Matty Cash, rolls it infield to Enzo Fernandez, back out to the Argentinian colleague Garnacho. Chelsea always looking for space, and now they come back into a deeper position. Chalobah and Badiashile. And there's an intenseness about the atmosphere here. Chelsea fans hoping that their team are going to strike while the iron is hot.
And Chelsea just holding on to the ball, and out of everybody on the pitch, there's 2 players outside the width of the penalty area. That's the 2 wingers for Chelsea. Until the ball goes wide, no one is addressing them. So you can imagine that Garnacho's in acres of space, but they're just leaving them there to say, go on, put it out there, because we fancy ourselves up against him.
Here goes Garnacho again down the left-hand side. Cash lunges in and catches Garnacho. That wasn't a great tackle, you know. He's come right down on his instep. And it's a free kick to Chelsea. And as you can imagine, Cucurella's over and he's asking for more. And the referee goes to his pocket, and it is going to be a yellow card for Matt Cash.
It was incredible that if it wasn't, because he just completely mistimes it and boots him almost into the stand. And from there, I mean, Garnacho can make the most of it at the best of times, but I think he had every right to go down there. He just got it wrong. Now that might change the occasion for Aston Villa, because Matty Cash up against Garnacho, you get another one wrong, you're going to be off, and that will be a tall order for Aston Villa.
It is a costly one for Matty Cash. He will miss the Arsenal game now because that yellow card triggers a booking. So free kick to Chelsea. It is a crossing position wide on the left-hand side. Reece James and Pedro Neto both standing over it. All of Villa's players are back behind the edge of their penalty area line defending, and everyone's up apart from the goalkeeper for Chelsea. So very congested. Roll to the edge of the area. Cole Palmer, not enough room to get the shot away. So it's back out to Reece James on the left-hand side again. Tries to stroke it high into the penalty area. Good jump by the tall Morgan Rogers. Badiashile tries to flick it on, and it goes well wide of the target. In the end, that sort of wasn't a shot and it wasn't a pass. He's just put the ball straight out of play.
You know what? It went up in the air, and he looked at it and thought, I'm going to overhead kick this. And then he realised, I'm a centre half. Centre halves don't do overhead kicks, and that was it. That was the end of that.
He had flashes. He had notions, as we'd say. But yeah, it didn't quite happen for Benoit Badiashile there. Only 2 goals for Chelsea in his career in the past, only one of them in the Premier League. Here he is. That's more his bread and butter there, winning a header against Malin on the halfway line as Cucurella gives it low to João Pedro, who tries to take it with him, but too heavy a touch, sees the ball go out of play, and that is a throw-in for Aston Villa on the right-hand side. Earlier on today, goals for Tijani Reinders and Rayan Cherki, so Manchester City win 2-1 away at Nottingham Forest. Arsenal had a 2-1 win against Brighton. Odegaard and an own goal from Ruta there after Gomez had scored for Brighton. There was also plenty of goals at Brentford today. They beat Bournemouth by 4-1. Bournemouth continued to go through a bit of a sticky patch. Liverpool 2-1 winners against Wolves. Gravenberch and Florian Wirtz scoring for Liverpool in the Premier League today. All the highlights on Match of the Day tonight. 10:25 on BBC One. Here at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 0. 32 minutes on the clock. Here's Garnacho attacking the edge of the penalty area left-hand side. It's a really good ball in. João Pedro wants a penalty. Referee says no. Lindelof was the defender. And for now it's a goal kick, but VAR will be having a look at this, I'm sure.
Well, I can't see how it can be a penalty from our angle. João Pedro never really got a leg out to make contact with the ball. Lindelof was the ball side of it and ushered it away, but Matty Cash refused to get near Garnacho, backed off and said, I tell you what, I'm not going to get engaged with him, and that allowed him to make the cross.
Right, the video assistant referee today, Paul Howard, along with Sean Massey-Ellis, they've had a look at that and they've said no penalty and play on. And it remains Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 0. Badiashile wins another header. He's done well airily against Malin so far in the game. If you missed the team news earlier on today, Daniel Malin preferred in the Villa team today, ahead of Ollie Watkins, who's on the bench. This is Pedro Neto on the right-hand side for Chelsea. Oh, it's a great mazy dribble. Inside one defender, outside another. Now can he keep his balance? Swings it across just too high for Enzo Fernandez. Caicedo gets it on the edge of the box. Now Cole Palmer dancing over the ball, trying to find a little bit of space. Villa spreading themselves across that edge of the box, trying to allow no room for Chelsea to sneak in. Palmer again, one touch to Reece James, still on the edge of the Villa penalty area. Here comes the cross, headed down by Lindelof, and a sigh of relief again for the visitors as Aston Villa cleared it away. Still 0-0, Rob Green.
Yeah, the back four is being stretched, being put under real pressure, standing up to it. Concert and Lindelof, they're backing themselves to make the headers. You're saying, okay, you wide men, you Chelsea wingers, you have the ball. We're going to back ourselves to win these headers, and at the minute they're doing that.
Chelsea, who started today in 4th, and Villa have won the 2 games this season they've played against teams in the top 4. They beat Arsenal, they beat Manchester City. Here's Cucurella for Chelsea, sends in a cross which is slightly behind Pedro Neto. Reece James hits it on the sort of side volley, and it sweeps across the face of goal and wide, and it's another Chelsea chance that doesn't test Martinez.
Yeah, another chance from the edge of the box from a knockdown. Neto doing really well to nod it back down, and it is away from the centre halves. They're getting all these crosses in, but the Aston Villa back line is just positioning themselves in front of the goal and saying we're going to win these. That one was away from them, allowed Reece James the opportunity. It wasn't a great strike.
Just over 10 minutes of normal time remaining until half-time. Over the break here on 5 Live, we'll be hearing from the likes of Mikel Arteta. We'll hear from Florian Wirtz, who's got that much-needed scratch of an itch today with his goal for Liverpool. Wilfred Nancy as well. That's all coming up at half-time here on 5 Live. Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 0 for now. John McGinn inside the centre circle for Villa, playing from left to right as we look down. Not a great pass from McGinn, not his usual care and attention. Pedro Neto was able to pass it to Cole Palmer, and here come Chelsea on the attack again. Tielemans is covering in at left back with a space in field. This is Cucurella to the left wing to Garnacho, up against Matty Cash, who's on a yellow, remember. Garnacho steps into the penalty area, gloves on, the long sleeves, back to Enzo Fernandez, in low. Joe Pedro wasn't able to control that, and Villa should be able to clear, but Rodgers can't control. And here come Chelsea again. Cucurella on the left-hand side, stabs it in front of Garnacho, who hadn't anticipated that kind of pass, and Villa will get it back again. And this is Ezri Konsa, and again a slightly miscued touch from John McGinn, not as accurate as you'd normally expect him to be. Good challenge that, Reece James, hard but fair on Morgan Rodgers, and Chelsea continue to boss the midfield area.
They can boss the midfield area, Conor, because they know exactly where the ball's going, because there's zero width from Aston Villa.
This is Enzo Fernandez to Garnacho again. Chelsea using the left wing more and more. Cucurella tries to send it across and puts it out for a corner. Corner to Chelsea, 9 minutes to go until half-time, plus the stoppages here on 5 Live.
Well, he's just been the same tactic over and over again from Aston Villa, and it's working at the minute because they kept a clean sheet, but it's inviting so much pressure. They're saying, we back ourselves to defend these crosses. They've got 4 defenders, 4 midfielders standing in front of the ball when it goes wide for any cross. They've got 8 players there.
So the corner is going to be taken by Reece James. This is left-hand side as Chelsea come forward. Pedro Neto came across to offer a short option, but he's been ushered away. So Reece James with the yellow boots walks up to the ball, swings it in, bounces it to Martinez, and it's in! Chelsea, who had about 5 players on the goal line, did that go in directly from the corner kick taker Reece James? Did it get a flick from a player? Maybe João Pedro, who's leading the celebrations. Either way, Chelsea fans roar into the night because their team takes the lead. It's been a dominant Chelsea performance the whole half to this point, and now they've got something to show for it. There will be a post-mortem from a Villa point of view to work out exactly how that went in, but Chelsea score from the corner. It's Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 0.
Oh, João Pedro claims it. It's a brilliant ball in from Reece James, and there must be 12 players within the 6-yard box of Aston Villa. Emi Martinez gets in a fight as the corner's being taken, and it's such a difficult one for goalkeepers. He's fighting 2-3 players in there. He can't come for the ball, and he's just got to stand there and hope it hits one of his teammates rather than another one. He bumps into, pushes Enzo Fernandez into the goal himself, and so really he's not got a leg to stand on here. Martinez, he's fighting 3-4 players of Chelsea. From there, he's got him involved in that, and there's so many players, it's just impossible. A flick of the leg maybe, touches João Pedro on the way in.
It's an interesting one. I mean, we know goalkeepers are the most protected of species, Rob, and we know that. There's jostling. No one actually holds him. Nope. They're kind of leaning into him, but they're not fouling him. But he's unsettled by it, and with his experience, he shouldn't be unsettled by that.
No, and you're looking at it, and he's had a number this season already where he's got away with being fouled. I was at Brentford where he got a long throw which he came for and he wasn't fouled, and they disallowed it. And there's a couple of other instances this season where he has got involved, and you're just thinking, don't. But at the same time, Aston Villa, their tactics allow 4 Chelsea players to stand on him. And from there, he's got absolutely nowhere to go. He's got nowhere to manoeuvre himself, manipulate himself. And it's so hard as a keeper not to get involved. You just want to focus on the ball, but you're being bumped, you're being buffeted. As you say, there wasn't a foul in there.
Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 0. The Premier League are giving the goal to João Pedro, so last touch from him. João Pedro with his 6th Premier League goal for Chelsea. And, well, we've been speaking All commentary so far, Rob, about the powers of recovery of Aston Villa. They're going to have to do it again. Here comes Garnacho, has to be onside. He was inside his own half as the pass was played to him. Chelsea storming forward, but a missed touch by Pedro Neto allows Morgan Rogers to help it back to Emi Martinez.
It's been a strange half, hasn't it, Connor? You're just thinking it's wave after attack from Chelsea. But Aston Villa, if they get it right, if they get that one ball out the back line right, they're at Chalobah and Badiashile, but they haven't managed to do it at all in 39 minutes.
Here comes Pedro Neto down the right-hand side for Chelsea, leading by a goal to nil here at Stamford Bridge. Reece James delivers another dangerous cross. McGinn protects the ball inside the penalty area, then tries to take on Cucurella. Great tussle between the two of them. Cucurella has done really well, and McGinn kicks his ankle. Now that's going to be a free kick to Chelsea. And I'm not sure of the intent from McGinn. Was he trying to kick the ball? But there's no doubt he connects with the ankle of the Spaniard. And across comes Stuart Atwell. And Sean McGinn. I mean, it was a great little tussle between the pair of them, but Cucurella did well.
Two characters going at it there, wasn't it? And John McGinn was having none of it. He just said that there was no intent to play the ball. He just kicked him, didn't he? They're still going. They're still having a little chat now. It's John McGinn saying, you want it, get on with it, play the ball.
Yeah, I think that's going to be put in the memory banks from John McGinn, and we haven't heard the last of that. There'll be a little bit of afters, I'm sure. Well, Chelsea went 1-0 up the last time these sides met, and Villa came back to win 2-1. So, of course, there's a long way to go here, but 4 minutes or thereabouts of regular time to go until the break, and that Joe Pedro goal has got Chelsea in front here against an Aston Villa team who have won their last 10 in a row.
He scored a wonderful goal last week, João Pedro. He gave himself an assist and a goal from Robert Sanchez's long kick, and that's more of the sort of goals you want when you're out of form, when you got just one off the proverbial backside from about 6 inches out.
João Pedro with a nutmeg pass there. He's been hurt in the process. Chelsea play on. João Pedro slowly getting back to his feet. Lindelof tries to head it out of the penalty area for Villa, but he gives it straight to Cole Palmer. A shot on target, but it was tame in terms of velocity, and it's comfortably saved by Emi Martinez diving down to his right-hand side. Still, Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 0 on 5 Live.
Yeah, poor from Lindelof again. And you're just thinking these opportunities to clear the ball from Villa. Look, they've already been stung once, but again, they're giving away the ball now.
Cucurella into Matty Cash. That was a full-blooded challenge, but both players committed on playing the ball there. You could hear the thud from up here as the Chelsea man won that particular challenge. But here comes Villa. Ian Maatsen, we haven't seen him in the attack much. Caicedo rather clumsily lunges into him. Play on, says the referee. Malin to Buendia, tries a trick. That wasn't the time or place for that. He's lost out to Enzo Fernandez. Poor pass from Enzo Fernandez behind Pedro Neto, who can only just about keep the ball in play, but he can't hold on to possession. That was a good counter-attacking opportunity for Chelsea, but it needed a better pass. Here come Villa again. They'd love to get back on level terms. Rather sluggish first half from Unai Emery's team, set up as Rob Green's been illustrating, not to concede. Now they have let one in. What's the response going to be? Villa, who have won more points from losing positions in the Premier League this season than any other team. They'll have factored in the possibility of this. They will have a plan up their sleeves. This is Lindelof, near the halfway line, doesn't fancy anything there, so turns and rolls it back to Emi Martinez. Rob.
Yeah, it's the first time that Chelsea haven't really pressed and just sat in. It's the first time they've really had a back four in about 40 minutes. So it's a funny, really tactically minded game, and they're kind of wanting Chelsea. They're inviting the press because that leaves a space of where they want to attack. And if Chelsea say no, the game kind of comes to a standstill for the first time in the whole of the first half.
If you're just joining our coverage, it's a João Pedro goal after a Reece James corner kick. It is Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 0, on a day when the other teams towards the top of the league have all been able to secure victories. And Chelsea, as things stand, if they hold on for the win here, would move back up ahead of Liverpool, back up into the top 4. Liverpool, who beat Wolves earlier on today, to leapfrog ahead of Chelsea, but Chelsea will be going back ahead of them if it stays like this, back up to within 4 points of Aston Villa in third. But of course, a long way to go here.
You're looking at the league, aren't you? And it's all of a sudden, after a season of not really settling down, 5 of the biggest names, Villa in there. There's the teams to beat.
Here's a chance for Aston Villa. McGinn trying to flick on a header on the edge of the box. There was a missed touch by Enzo Fernandez, and now he's been fouled. So Rogers, who shoots, and the shot goes over the bar, wouldn't have counted anyway. foul on Enzo Fernandez. Free kick to Chelsea right on the edge of their own penalty area.
You're feeling that now, well, a minute to go, Chelsea would be happy for half-time. The goal almost took the sting out of the game, calmed it down, and Chelsea happy not to go hell for leather and try and press, which in turn asks Aston Villa what to do, and kind of almost stumbling our way through to half-time, which Chelsea will not mind.
Now there are 2 live Premier League commentaries coming up tomorrow on 5 Live. From 2 o'clock it's Sunderland against Leeds. That's with Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin. And then Crystal Palace against Spurs with John Murray and Sue Smith from 4:30. Half-time almost upon us. The 4th official is preparing the board to tell us what will be added on ahead of the break. Chelsea leading by a goal to nil. Foul on Matty Cash by Garnacho this time. Free kick to Villa. Right full-back position for them.
Well,
2 minutes to be added on.
Yeah, you look at Aston Villa and Unai Emery and you're saying he's just worked his first half, and I don't really think you have. You're coming out with this tactic to say we're going to have less possession. Can we really hurt Chelsea? And they haven't really, in any way, shape or form. They've shown signs of it. They've just not had the quality to play enough passes together to put their main players through. Looking at Chelsea's shape, it's without the ball, it's almost a 2 at the back and 5 in midfield. It's incredible to watch.
Villa want a free kick here, they've got to get it. Morgan Rogers fouled by Badia Shield. At least 10, probably 12 yards outside the penalty area. Right hand side, it's not going to be a shooting position this, but it's a good platform for Villa to get the ball into the mixer in stoppage time ahead of the break at Stamford Bridge.
You look at Robert Sanchez now, he's barely had a touch in this first half. It'd be a great fillip for Aston Villa to go in at 1-1 with not really throwing a punch in this first half, or not having the quality to. It's a good opportunity though, as good as they've had.
Yeah, there's only been 1 shot from Villa in the first half so far. I mean, I know the pitches aren't muddy these days, but I mean, Robert Sanchez looks like the kit has just come out of the wardrobe. I mean, it's spotless. You know, he hasn't had to a bead of sweat on it in this first half here, let alone a patch of mud.
Well, it's a cold evening, and he will be cold in that goal. It's a cold place down there.
There are 4 Villa players having a little committee meeting, standing over this free kick, trying to decide what to do. Eventually Konza and Tielemans walk away, and it's going to be John McGinn to take the free kick. Mention it's not really a shooting position, but regardless of that, Chelsea have erected a 2-man wall, Garnacho and Palmer, just in case John McGinn has any fancy ideas. Villa, in fact, at the moment appealing they're not the full 10 yards back. And was that a shot? It's a strange one if it was. McGinn has just played it softly towards Robert Sanchez. That's a bit of a waste of the set piece opportunity for Aston Villa there.
Yeah, it was a shot, and it's the only shot really that Aston Villa have had in the first half.
And that is half-time. So the corner kick played in by Reece James, it glanced off the back of the leg of João Pedro, so the Brazilian claims it. It's an important goal for Chelsea, because they would have been disappointed had this game still been 0-0 going in at half-time. Such had been the chances they created, the amount of possession. There's no doubt they've been the team on top. Can Unai Emery now rouse his troops, and can Villa show us what they've been all about in recent months, this run of 10 wins in a row? Can they keep that going in this second half? It looks increasingly to be a tall order for now.
It's been a tough ask for Aston Villa to stay in the game, but they've managed to do it first by 1 goal, and from there, you're saying with the 11 that they have out on the pitch, they can change it, they can change formation, Unai Emery can change this. I feel he's got to have to change it, because they've just not been good enough in this first half.
At half-time at Stamford Bridge, it is Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 0.
Back for the second half. Earlier today in the Premier League, 2-1 wins for Manchester City, Arsenal and Liverpool. Big defeat for West Ham, beaten at home by 1-0 by Fulham. Another defeat for Bournemouth as well, as Brentford beat them 4-1 at the G-Tech Community Stadium. Burnley and Everton finished goalless. In the Scottish Premiership, Hibs won the Edinburgh Derby by 3-2, so Celtic have cut the gap on Hearts to 3 points after a 4-2 win at Livingston. Rangers and Dundee also won. St Mirren and Kilmarnock finished goalless. In the tea time game in the Scottish Premiership, Dundee United have just taken the lead at Pittodrie. They lead Aberdeen by 1-0. In the Gallagher Prem earlier, Bristol and Saracens were the winners, and at half-time at the Rec, Chris Jones.
Yeah, gave it the big build-up earlier, didn't we, Mark? And it's delivered. Bath 14, Northampton 14. Bath's 2 tries down to their formidable forwards. Northampton's down to the artistry of their backs. DeToy and Dunn for Bath, Freeman and McParlin with individual scores for the Saints. The Saints missing some big names though. Alex Mitchell, no Finn Smith, their kingpin halfbacks. Alex Coles, George Furbeck, Fraser Dingwall also not involved, but they've been excellent, the visitors. Clever, confrontational, they're well in this and could and perhaps should be ahead, but at half-time, perfectly poised. Bath 14, Northampton 14.
So I'll bring you some reaction to the day's football in both England and Scotland, and then you can react to that with 606 at the conclusion of Chelsea Aston Villa 08085 909 693. 20 past 6, Richard Foster has the news.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Scotland's largest health board has apologised after the wrong body was given to undertakers for a cremation. The error was only discovered after the service had taken place. NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde is now investigating. President Zelensky's arrived in Canada for a meeting with the country's Prime Minister Mark Carney. He's on his way to Florida for talks with President Trump about ending the war with Russia. The latest Russian strikes on Kyiv have killed one person and left a third of the city without power. More than 700 flights have been cancelled and more than 3,000 delays because of a severe winter storm in the northeastern United States. States of emergency have been declared in New York, New Jersey and Connecticut, where 23 centimetres of snow was recorded. The government's starting a new scheme to give young people the chance to experience life in the armed forces for a year without making longer commitments. It's part of plans to tackle long-term recruitment and retention problems. And Gordon Ramsay says he couldn't be a prouder dad after his daughter Holly married the Olympic gold medalist Adam Peaty. The ceremony took place at Bath Abbey this afternoon.
In 2025, we were here for the investigators. Gangster.
They were stealing money from wealthy institutions. That was fair game.
Murder, they wrote.
He was a preacher, a good guy, but now he's dead.
It has all the marks of a sort of like a proper horror film.
And fame under fire.
He is no longer afforded the right of a regular citizen. He is guilty until proven innocent.
Get the best of 2025 with podcasts on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Reaction to the day's Premier League football then. Manchester City went top of the Premier League at lunchtime when they beat Nottingham Forest 2-1. Arsenal then went back above them, 2 points clear after beating Brighton at home by the same score. Here's Mikel Arteta.
Relieved, no, very happy, very proud on the performance, on the way we played, the way we dominated the game, the amount of situations, chances, big chances that we generated. Disappointed that the margin were much bigger because they should have been. But this is the Premier League, and at 2-0, the first time they had a shot, they scored a goal, and it's game on, and you could feel it. And then David had to make a save at the end to maintain that, even though, again, we missed 2 massive chances afterwards. But with a lot of situations that we're going through with injuries, again, of Julian and Enrique in the warm-up, the way the players step in, I mean, what Declan has done today, it's the best example of what this team and these players are. So I'm very proud of them.
In terms of what you saw from your team, did you feel there was a bit of a dip in energy in that second half when Brighton came into it because you've just been playing so many games and the squad is stretched? Physically, no. Obviously, it was when they scored because obviously you generate that many chances and situations, you know it has to be 4 or 5. And you don't score those, and in the first shot they score. Yeah, it's a difficult one to solo, but again, we go through it. We won again, which is very difficult, and we're very happy. And a big game against Aston Villa coming up right now. Another big game, and the next one will be very big and very massive. So this is what the joy of being in this job, that every 3 days we have to do our best to maintain and win our games.
Rob Nothman with the questions. Let's go to Anfield. Florian Wirtz getting his first Liverpool goal in their 2-1 win over Wolves.
I know it's probably the hardest league in the world, and I just had to get used to the physicality, the players around me on the pitch when I was in the midfield. It was sometimes a bit difficult to keep the ball, but I just had to get used to it, and I feel every game I feel a little bit better now, and I want to continue like that.
So Wolves still without a point under Rob Edwards. That was their 11th successive league defeat. Here he is.
I thought we started the first half relatively well. First 10-15 minutes is not, we were okay, we were relatively comfortable. And then I thought they started to force us back. We can keep the ball well enough in transition, which we've seen before, and we were a little bit too passive, in areas that we want to be aggressive and try and win the ball back. All that being said, I've been here before where, you can feel like you're in a washing machine and you can't get out. It didn't feel like we were under incredible pressure, goal threat, but the really frustrating one is the second goal for me. You can concede, but then it's about reorganising and making sure then that you get in at half time and then you're right in the game. The way we conceded the second goal was really frustrating. We had the ball, I know it's tight in the midfield area there, but we lost it. It's another duel that we've lost. We jumped out and opened up spaces for them to get that second, and the timing of it was obviously a killer. But the reaction at half time was excellent. We forced them into mistakes and then we took the ball. We were braver. We were the team that I wanted us to be and want us to look like in the second half. We need to try and harness that feeling of what we had and the performance in the second half to take forward.
Next to Brentford, who beat Bournemouth 4-1 with a hat-trick from Kevin Schade. Here he is with Robin Cowan.
Kevin, congratulations, first of all. Just seemed like a really great performance from everyone today.
Yeah, very tough as well. Many counters, many set pieces as well, but I think in general, in the end, very deserved for us. I mean, with counters like we are just finished, very intense game, but yeah, a strength from us.
You got a hat-trick today. I mean, just talk us through, I guess, the first goal. Was it so satisfying to get onto the end of it and kind of take out the Bournemouth defender as well?
Yeah, in the beginning I just focused on the defender to get him out, and after calm finish into the right corner. The second one was very quick. I didn't even think, I just took my shot after I got it back from Jarmo. And the third one, Damzi has always an eye for me or for Igor. I think we are both free in the position, and I just hope that he will cross it, and he did.
Antoine Semenyo got the Bournemouth goal, but whether it will be his last for the club will depend on whether he moves in January. Manchester City believed to be in pole position to sign him. Here's Andoni Iraola.
I don't think it's affecting him. I think he's a very honest player. I suppose there has to be, this noise has to affect him, but I don't feel it in the trainings, I don't feel it in the games. I think he's playing like himself, and I hope we can keep him there, because I think he's with better and worse performances, because today definitely wasn't his best game, but I think it's not because he's not trying or he's not. I think he's giving everything.
Fulham are into the top half after a 1-0 win at West Ham. Here's Marco Silva.
Big win for us. It was, if last week was a crucial one and a massive 3 points for us, or last game, this one was even more important for us to climb for position on the table. That probably deserves to be there. Looking for all the performance and what we have been doing on the pitch, probably deserve more. And great one away from home. Third win in a row away from home. Always difficult in Premier League you achieve something like that. Third in a row in Premier League too, and it's very difficult to win one game or 2 games in a row. Imagine 3 games in a row, and of course the players deserve all the credits.
Scottish Premiership has provided a couple of cracking stories today. Hibs won the Edinburgh Derby. They beat Hearts 3-2. They had been 3-0 up at one stage. Then in Celtic's game at bottom of the table, Livingston, there were 4 goals in the first 10 minutes. It was 2-2 there. Celtic then got 2 more before half-time, winning 4-2. And here's Wilfried Nancy on his side's character.
Obviously, really happy with the spirit, because we came back twice from behind. And this is something that I like to see, because it means that we have a good competitive spirit. And after that, we scored the 4 goals in first half. But second half could have been better. I think that we could have controlled the game a little bit better, especially when we had to decide when we have to attack quick or when we have to keep the ball in their half. And I think that this is the next step, to be able to control this kind of game better and to be able to have more freshness for the next game. But I like the attitude. The attitude was really, really good. The spirit, the competitive spirit was really, really good against a difficult team to play, the context, the pitch, and so on. So really pleased with my players.
That was Wilfried Nancy after Celtic's 4-2 win at Livingston. Plenty to talk about them with Chris and Aaron tonight on 606.
Evening. Good to see it. Good to be. I mean, what a day of action to rifle through. Arsenal getting the job done. Man City getting the job done as well. Liverpool getting the job done. So
all by the same score.
Yeah, all by the same scoreline as well. But Arsenal and City very much so. Is that going to be the title race? Is it a 2-horse title race if Villa do go on and lose tonight in the live game? Elsewhere and down the other end of the table, West Ham United, absolutely. I'm going there on Wednesday, Tuesday. Not looking forward to it. West Ham Brighton, but nonetheless, I'll be my usual effervescent self for 5 Live. Bournemouth as well, Mark. 9 games without a win. How much pressure is Anthony Iraola under? And one more, Wolves, obviously with it being the season of perpetual hope, we're offering Wolves fans the opportunity just to come on and sort of let's give them a bit of a boost if they need it.
08085 909 693 to talk to Aaron and Chris. They're approaching half-time at Pittodrie, and Dundee United lead Aberdeen by a 1-0. Still waiting for the sides to come back out at Stamford Bridge. Substitutes going through various vigorous warm-ups in either half. Rob Green alongside Conor McNamara. As you've pointed out several times in commentary, they have one game plan at the moment here, De Villa, and that's going straight through the middle.
Yeah, and it's really strange, and it's not working. And I was just chatting to guys up here in the gantry going, what's going on? We know they haven't, with all these numbers that they've been playing with and the wins that they've come under, Mark, it's like you're thinking they're playing well in every game. They're not. They haven't played well in these 10 games in a row. They haven't played well in all 10, I should say. But this is something else, and it's almost like it's just saying there to Connor, they've done it in the training ground against the kids or the guys that haven't been picked, and they go, no, this has worked brilliantly. You know, we could do this, we could break through Chelsea's line. And then you've got Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez and Reece James harrying you down, and it's just not worked. I can't see how they come out in the second half and do the same.
So you would obviously look to get more width, but where is that going to come from?
Well, I would now bring Ollie Watkins on, move Morgan Rogers to the left. You've got your best player playing in the form of his life, and you've moved him in position, and he's not looked the same. Don't know why you do that. Stick him back out where he's good. Emi Buendia doesn't know whether to stick or twist out wide on the left defensively. He's up, trying to press, he's back, he's leaving Matson in a hole on his own. So I'd swap them and bring Buendia off and then say, OK, we've got an out ball on the left. We've got John McGinn who's going to tuck in on the right. We might be a little bit lopsided, but we've got some real quality there as a different option.
And it's actually helping Chelsea because their width is strong.
Yeah, and you know where they're going to be. You know when Chelsea haven't got the ball, it's the strangest formation defensively. At some points when they haven't got the ball, they're playing one at the back, two sort of pushed further on, and then another 2 midfielders, and then everybody else pressing. Because it's just a situation where we go, well, we know where you're going to go. We can ignore 3/4 of the pitch laterally because you have to go narrow. It's a bizarre watch.
All the goals on the iPlayer from 8 o'clock. Extended highlights and the best analysis with Gabby on Match of the Day at 10:25. Alan Shearer and Wayne Rooney alongside. And 6:06 follows the second half from Stamford Bridge with Conor McNamara alongside Rob.
Thanks very much, Mark. Both teams back out onto the field. Doesn't look like we're going to have any changes over the break. So Chelsea leading by João Pedro's goal to 0. And Aston Villa yet to have a shot in the game. And there's been 119 matches that Unai Emery has been in charge of Aston Villa. This is only the second time that his team have failed to attempt a single shot in the first half in the Premier League. So can they improve on that? For Chelsea, can they build on the lead that they currently hold? We're about to get back underway. Stuart Atwell, the referee. Chelsea will play from left to right as we look down in this second period. Blue shirts, blue shorts, white socks. Cole Palmer's going to get us back underway. And Villa in their claret and blue with the white shorts and the claret socks. And Chelsea give it back to Robert Sanchez, who pumps the yellow high-vis ball long into the night sky, but it bounces all the way through to Emi Martinez down the other end. So a reminder of the teams. Chelsea with Robert Sanchez in goal. Back for Reece James, Benoit Badiashile, Trevor Chalobah and Marc Cucurella. In midfield, Moises Caicedo is holding, Enzo Fernandez pushing on, Pedro Neto on the right-hand side, Cole Palmer like the number 10 role, Garnacho on the left, João Pedro through the middle. And for Aston Villa, Martinez the goalkeeper. It's a back four of Cash, Konza, Lindelof and Matson. Kamara alongside Tielemans in the midfield. John McGinn wide right. Buendia, Rodgers, Daniel Mallon leading the line with Ollie Watkins still on the bench. Villa have possession. John McGinn midway inside his own half, immediately chaperoned by Moise Caicedo. Villa have got to retreat to the edge of their own penalty area. This was the pattern the first half. Villa having to work really hard just to try and get up to the halfway line, and invariably losing possession as they do again here, as Enzo Fernandez nips in, gives it to Garnacho on the left-hand side, hoists it across. Oh, Neto is arriving. Now, who got the touch there? Neto's appealing. There was a handball off the defender. He's insistent. He's run 25 yards over to the face of the referee, claiming there was a handball. Video assistant referee will be looking at all of this in the background, of course, but Chelsea baying for a penalty in the early stages of the second half.
Yeah, we're just over a minute into the second half, and it's Chelsea again. Nothing's changed from the first half. Garnacho drifting in, and it's drifted to the far post, and Maatsen and Martinez, a little bit of indecision between them, and Maatsen saying, well, I'll take control, and gets the ball off the pitch, shepherds it off. How he does that, the angle is impossible to tell from where we are, but it's something that, again, they're inviting the cross. There's no pressure on the cross.
Right, we've just seen the replay. It's an interesting one. It's not going to be a penalty. Hang on, they've taken the corner shot. We'll come back to that. Corner played in by Cole Palmer, headed out on the edge of the box by Lindelof, and Moise Caicedo will send it back to the goalkeeper. So the ball comes in, and it's almost like Maatsen said he can feel his own goalkeeper's coming out. So he's kind of just trying to be invisible. He knows that Martinez is coming, but because he's sort of standing not properly looking at the ball, it comes down on the top of his shoulder, and it certainly does hit that part of his body. That's why Pedro Neto's screaming penalty, but I don't think you're ever going to get a spot kick for that.
No, not in the Premier League. In Europe, you'd say that in the Champions League or Europa League, if you're Aston Villa, that's a penalty, because he's waiting for being smacked in the back by Neto, being bundled over, and sort of steadies himself, and in doing so lifts his arms, and then it strikes him. So there's no intention. But the warning signs again are there for Villa.
Yeah, Chelsea still looked the sharper team here by some distance, and despite this fine run that Aston Villa have been on, they don't look like a team that's looking for an 11th consecutive win at the moment. But of course, so many of the wins that they have done, they've come from behind. I mean, it's been notable this season. I mean, the last 6 Premier League matches that Aston Villa have conceded the opening goal in, 5 of them they've come back to win. I mean, not even to come back to draw. 5 of the 6 they've come back to win. So this has been their strength, to finish strongly. And let's see if Unai Emery's team can do it again here. Matty Cash plays the ball, lashes it up towards Emi Buendia. So difficult for Buendia to control that. Palmer is sharp, gets in ahead of Tielemans, has possession for Chelsea just outside the penalty area that they attack. Chelsea leading by a goal to nil. The goal from João Pedro from a Reece James corner in the first half. 49 minutes played at Stamford Bridge. Cucurella in possession on the left-hand side. Gives it to Reece James. Now into Badiashile. He will spray it to the near touchline. Comes down on the chest of Pedro Neto. And in close attention, Emi Buendia forces Neto off the field of play. So that will be a throw-in to Aston Villa. Rob Green.
Yeah, there is the temptation for Badiashile to hit that eye-catching spread of the ball, the switch there, and it doesn't do anything. It's a long time in the air. Aston Villa can get out, they can get 2 players out. Neto's taking it down off his neck. There's no point hitting that ball despite the temptation.
Here come Chelsea. Garnacho on the left-hand side comes in field of Konza, plays a good ball into the penalty area and finds Pedro Neto. Neto against Maatsen, kind of kicks the ground, doesn't hit it properly across the face of goal, and Aston Villa are able to clear away again. But they are, just as they were in the first half, Villa spending so much time in their own final third, the third of the field they're defending.
Yeah, it's when they get the ball, it's a 4-2-2-2. Now, the thing with 4-2-2-2 is great if you've got fullbacks that you utilise. They're not utilising them.
Here comes Cole Palmer into the penalty area again. Tries to put it through the legs of Lindelof, who snapped his heels shot. Palmer still has it in the box here. Lindelof dancing in front of him. Another nutmeg by Cole Palmer. This time putting it through the legs of Buendia. He's still got the ball here, Palmer, inside the penalty area. Back to the edge to Pedro Neto. Now Moise Caicedo. Deeper now. Back into the midfield as Chelsea hold on to possession, and Villa trying desperately to step out, but it's been so difficult for them to do today. Badiashile on the halfway line, and under pressure from Daniel Mallon gives it to Chalobah, and in turn all the way back to Robert Sanchez. So Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 0, 50 minutes play. Chalobah, 10 yards outside his own box, rolls it back. You can see Rodgers is trying to create more of a presence as he charges in on Sanchez, but Villa very toothless in attack so far. They have a throw. Maatsen takes it. to Yuri Tielemans, midway inside Chelsea territory. Short ball to Rodgers. Rodgers, who's hit a few from distance lately, doesn't quite catch that one right. Scuffed shot goes wide of the target, but the reason it looked so scuffed was it was deflected. Corner to Aston Villa on the left-hand side.
A few signs of life from Aston Villa. Caught Chelsea out of shape momentarily, and from there you're looking at getting the main man on the ball and didn't quite strike it how he wanted it to be. But 51 minutes and you're saying this is the first real spell of any form of pressure that they've had, and Villa have the corner. Chelsea have put 3 up, so they're going 3v3 at the back. Aston Villa, this is something we've seen Chelsea do before.
Corner's going to be taken by Matty Cash. He's placing the ball right on the edge of the little quadrant down by the corner flag. As long as any part of the ball is hovering over that line, it's legit. Here comes the in-swinging corner. Sanchez, that's a good catch. That's really good. Players all over him. And then basketball chest pass out to Cole Palmer, and Sanchez has sprung Chelsea on the counter-attack here. Villa, who had sent players up for the corner, now have to get back. João Pedro to Palmer. Garnacho's arriving, and in the nick of time, McGinn slides in and puts it out for a corner. What a goal that would have been for Chelsea.
It's end-to-end football, and it's brilliant from Chelsea. Even better from John McGinn, tracking all the way back, and just at the nick, last moment, gets a toe on the ball. Aston Villa were at full stretch there. It's wonderful from Sanchez under pressure, and then to release Chelsea and Cole Palmer. It's simple football, but brilliant football.
Garnacho was ready to side-foot it home, but McGinn in the nick of time slid in. Chelsea have taken the corner short. Reece James to Palmer, back to Reece James again. Now Garnacho on the edge of the box. No room for a shot, so he gives it to Caicedo, who'll clip the ball back over to the left-hand side, and Cole Palmer tried to lash it in. I'm not quite sure what he was trying to do there, but the ball has somehow ended up on the roof of the net without actually threatening the goal mouth. But Chelsea 1-0 in front, still very much on top in this Premier League 5:30 kickoff on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Tried to bring you up to date with Bath against Saints. Chris Jones.
Yeah, Bath could easily been behind at half-time, Connor, but they've scored 6 minutes into the second half to retake the lead. Thomas Dutoy, second of the night for the South African. Bath's forwards are lethal close to the line, aren't they? Russell converted. Northampton, though, on the attack, 5-metre line out. Great game. Bath 21, Northampton 14, nearing the 50-minute mark.
Thanks very much, Chris. Earlier on today, Manchester City won away at Nottingham Forest. Arsenal had a home win against Brighton. Brentford 4-1 victors against Bournemouth. It was 0-0 between Burnley and Everton. Liverpool beat Wolves 2-1. West Ham beaten again. Fulham winning by a goal to nil at London Stadium. And here at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea in front against Aston Villa, who've been on such a good roll lately. They've been the Premier League's in-form team, but they are trailing here. In Scotland, Hearts were beaten away at Hibs. Dundee won against Falkirk. Celtic had a 4-2 win away at Livingston. Rangers beat Motherwell by a goal to nil. And Dundee United beat Aberdeen as the shot comes in and comes back off the crossbar, and maybe a chance. Martinez stretching. Did he touch it onto the frame of the goal as the shot came in from an unusual angle on the right-hand side, and the Argentinian World Cup winner just about reacted.
That's a brilliant save in the end. It's a cross shot, very much a cross, which turned into an awful shot to deal with for Martinez, and he just about does enough to make the save. But man, Aston Villa causing their own problems, just allowing space for the Chelsea players.
Villa all afternoon have been looking for a break, and they just can't catch it. Maybe a chance here. McGinn, it came off the back of the head of Enzo Fernandez there. It's fallen for John McGinn. He'll help the ball on to Emi Buendia, midway into Chelsea territory. Now, Morgan Rogers, just outside the penalty area, trying to weave into that angle that he scored 2 from last week. Buendia shoots, and it's blocked again, and Sanchez won't prevent that from going for a corner. Corner to Aston Villa on the left-hand side. They're beginning to show a bit of fight, but they need more.
Beginning to show the fight, but Chelsea are beginning to tire a little bit. 1 or 2 mistakes creeping in there, 1 or 2 lax passes that is allowing them to break. They haven't had that ball out, they've not had the opportunity. Now, second half, 10 minutes into it, all of a sudden, 1 or 2 opportunities just to get the ball forward.
João Pedro's goal. On the big screens here, the belated explanation for the Premier League Match Centre about the Ian Maatsen handball situation. And It was deemed that Matsson's arm was in a justified position, so they're just explaining that to the crowd as to why the penalty wasn't awarded there. All sorts of hustling inside the 6-yard box. Reece James is temporarily down on his knees there after being shoved to the ground by Morgan Rogers. Referee Stuart Atwell comes across to try and calm things down. If you weren't listening to our commentary in the first half, the goal that Chelsea have scored in this game came from a corner taken from exactly where Matty Cash is going to take this Aston Villa corner here. And still Reece James and Morgan Rogers are pulling and dragging each other, and Stuart Atwell has to hold up play again, and I think this is very much a final warning to that player, to that pair, to cut it out. Still we wait for the corner. Still they're all holding each other. In the old days, this was just sort of after Christmas in the sales, battling for the things that are on heavy discount. Yellow card for each of them. I don't think anyone could have any complaint. He warned them twice and they continued to do it. Yellow card for both Reece James and for Morgan Rogers.
Well, the ball hasn't been kicked, so it's not a free kick or a penalty, and that's the only option really Stuart Atwell has. So, you know what, well done referee.
And still they pull out of each other. Corner's taken short. Matty Cash on the left-hand side. That's a good delivery. Sanchez dominating his penalty area again, and he pulls it out in front of Caicedo, who passes to Cucurella, and it's 4-on-4 for Chelsea. Cucurella to the edge of the box. His option is Garnacho, who shoots across the face of goal and wide. And Chelsea again coming close to the second goal that would give them a bit of comfort on the scoreboard. For now it remains Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 0.
Well, the two best chances of the second half have come from Aston Villa corners, but they're for Chelsea. Both dealing, Robert Sanchez dealing with the ball brilliantly, and that's the fight. That's what Reece James is fighting for. He's allowing Robert Sanchez to come for the ball. That's what Aston Villa didn't do. Martinez got in a fight with Fernandes, then the ball ends up on hitting João Pedro as it goes in for the goal. They know what Sanchez can do. That's why they're playing 3 up when it's a corner for Aston Villa. Just give him the goalkeeper space to get the ball.
OK, we're about to have the first substitutions of the game, and it is plural. Ollie Watkins is going to come on, and Onana as well. So a double change for the visitors. And just confirm, I think it's going to be a triple change because Sancho coming on too, and Malen departing as well. So Amadou Onana, Ollie Watkins, Jadon Sancho all coming on for Unai Emery's team. Buendia, Malen and McGinn are the players who are going off. Well, I think Unai Emery had to change something, and he's gone for quite sweeping changes here with the three substitutes.
Yeah, well, Tielemans is now going up as a number 10. Watkins is a lone striker, so it's back to what we'd recognise Aston Villa's normal formation as a 4-2-3-1. And Morgan Rogers is back out where he wants to be, out on this left-hand side. Sancho out on the right, and Tielemans is the number 10. Those three in behind Watkins. So a return to normality, really, for Aston Villa. The shall we say it, the experiment? It didn't work. So put that one back away, Unai.
Chelsea leading Villa by a goal to 0 here. Half an hour to play. And a return to Stamford Bridge for Jadon Sancho, who of course was on loan here as a Chelsea player last season. He played a lot as well. 41 appearances Jadon Sancho made for Chelsea last season. And this is Badiashile picking out Enzo Fernandez in the midfield, away from Kamara. Garnacho's not strong enough there, and Tielemans is able to outmuscle him. Here's Onana involved for the first time. So Sancho's gone out to the right wing. Watkins through the middle. 2 goals against Chelsea in his last 3 visits here to Stamford Bridge for Ollie Watkins. He did score twice against Brighton in December, but those have been his only goals in his last 16 games. Ollie Watkins, normally so prolific, he's had a quiet season, albeit with the team doing well around him.
It's been an interesting one, hasn't it? Ollie Watkins, he was void at the start of the season, watching him play, void of energy, void of confidence. I feel slowly it might come back. So much football, so many niggling injuries for him. It's not been an ideal season.
Chelsea leading Villa. Cucurella comes forward on the left-hand side, gives the ball to Garnacho. Just outside the penalty area of the attack. That's a clever ball in. Enzo Fernandez helps it onto João Pedro. He can't help it onto Cole Palmer behind him. Good build-up for Chelsea. The final touch was missing. Villa come on a decent counter-attack here. Watkins involved for the first time since coming on. Kamara's made a run ahead of him. Watkins to Kamara, out comes Sanchez. Brave goalkeeping, diving right down to the feet of the Frenchman. Sanchez keeps Chelsea's lead intact, and then when they try to counter-attack, the pass is overplayed in front of Pedro Neto, and Chelsea fans are upset about that because that was a big chance. But Villa, what an opportunity for them too.
Brilliant opportunity, the moment they've been waiting for. Go direct, go central, go with numbers through the middle, and then momentarily they had a 3v1, and the through ball came through, and it just a little nick of Chalobah. And from there, Sanchez sees the opportunity. What he did do well is came out, slid out, but stayed up high. And then when Kamara comes out, when he does get the dink on him, he manages to keep his chest up and make the block.
Chelsea still leading by the goal to nil here. Villa coming on the attack with Lindelof. News of a try in the rugby to come in just a moment. Let's see what Villa do here. Kamara. Villa beginning to realise that although there is still a third of this match to go, they need to get their skates on. Matty Cash sends in across. Tielemans unmarked in the middle, but Sanchez comes out and is able to gather the ball. And we go for an update. Bath against Saints with Chris Jones.
Well, Rory Hutchinson had a try disallowed for Northampton, but it's his centre partner Tommy Freeman who's definitely got the Saints level. Freeman, one of England's best players the last couple of years. He scored 2 super tries today. Bath 21, Northampton 21, 25 minutes to go.
And this is Morgan Rogers, and through to Ollie Watkins, and he's got it in! Watkins, who's only been on the pitch less than 2 minutes, gets the equaliser for Aston Villa. Oh, he took that really well. The way he received the ball in a tight space. One touch to control, one touch to finish. Villa, the team who is so hard to beat, are back on level terms again. Chelsea won, Aston Villa won. Welcome to the party, Ollie Watkins.
Well, they just keep on bouncing back, Aston Villa. The substitutes have made the difference. Change of shape, change of momentum in the game. And Ollie Watkins, a striker's finish, a striker's goal on the shoulder. Just needed half a yard of space. It opened up in the middle of the park. Slidal pass down the centre side of the centre half. He gets the touch out perfectly. And then Sanchez comes out. He manages to get a nick on the ball. It bounces back off Sanchez onto Watkins, I think, and from there it was going in. But the game has opened up for Aston Villa since the substitutions. A bit of quality on the pitch and a striker's poacher's finish.
Suddenly Aston Villa have got some presence up top. Sanchez had come out and did his level best. The original shot from Watkins, parried by the goalkeeper, back off Watkins and into the net. Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 1 at 27 minutes to play. This is going to be good now, Rob.
Yeah, it's been a complete change around Connor since they made the substitutions, and you just wonder why haven't you done this from the start? Because the game's been transformed and the shape's been different. Banana being on the pitch, he's a presence, and all of a sudden he's putting his foot in. Tielemans has looked more dangerous playing higher. Watkins looks like a proper centre forward up front. You think, why did you do this an hour ago?
The volume has just raised at Stamford Bridge, and it's the voices of the away fans from Birmingham who are singing now. Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 1. For all their attacking menace, Chelsea only scored once, and here come Villa again, and Reece James has got to scamper back and clear up to the cross low into the penalty area from Matty Cash. Another try at the Bath Saints game for Chris Jones.
Northampton lead at the Rec. Henry Arundel breaking down the left-hand side. He thought he was in, but the ball came loose. George Hendy away inside to Henry Pollock, who finished with a huge dive. Not quite the ass-splash, more the Pollock press. Northampton lead by 7, Bath 21, Northampton 28, almost an hour played.
Thanks, Chris. 5 live at Stamford Bridge of the Premier League. This 5:30 kickoff, all square. Chelsea 1, Villa 1. Goals from João Pedro in the first half, from Ollie Watkins sprung from the bench in the second period, and suddenly Villa have got an extra bit of spring in their step now. Maxson has it on the left-hand side. Chelsea will be beginning to doubt themselves because they've created so many chances. How many shots, how many attempts? Remember that Enzo Fernandez one when he went for the top corner of the first half. Just one of so many big opportunities for Enzo Maresca's team here, but with only a fraction of those opportunities themselves. Villa have got the same amount to score on the board at 1-1. And this is Konza at the back for Aston Villa. Short to Kamara. Out to the right wing to Jadon Sancho. How he'd love to impress on his return here to Stamford Bridge. And he skips away for the first attempted challenge. And he's on his bike here now. Sancho into Morgan Rogers. Reece James backing off. Here is Maatsen. And a shot is parried at the near post. And Sanchez makes another big save. He's been much busier in this second half, Robin Sanchez.
Oh, what a turnaround this is. Chelsea are rocking. They're looking to the bench saying, what do we do? Because they're coming from every angle here. We just don't know how to pick them up. Both fullbacks have had such an impression since the substitutions and the change of shape. Matty Cash down the right. This time it was Maatsen down the left, overloading down the left-hand side. Fantastic strike of the ball. Just didn't have the direction, really. Sanchez could parry, but the options Villa have are endless now.
Maatsen, also a former Chelsea player, he'd have loved to have scored there. Tielemans through the legs of the defender. Watkins alert on the edge of the 6-yard box, and Enzo Fernandez has to shuffle it out for another Aston Villa corner. The body language has so dramatically changed for Chelsea, who now look so uncertain.
There's real questions being asked of Chelsea, a bit like at St James's Park last week in the first half. They turn around going, what's going on? We don't know what's going on. Look at each other. And just looking now, Villa are putting 2 out for corners in response to Chelsea leaving 3 up front, and Chelsea are only putting 1 out. And he's saying there's an easy pass there for Villa. They can do this every time.
Yep, Chelsea leaving the 3 players up on the halfway line, so it's not as congested. But what has Tielemans done here? He's given the ball straight to Cole Palmer. That's a dreadful corner. Now maybe leaving players up top is going to work out for Chelsea here. Cole Palmer, low ball in, didn't hit it well. Too soft and picked up by Kamara. He could have drilled it far side to Garnacho. He could have played it more accurately to the middle to João Pedro. By his standards, Cole Palmer will be disappointed with that. Chelsea 1, Villa 1. Villa trying to play their way out from the back. Reece James tries to win it back, but things aren't going Chelsea's way the way they were earlier on in the match. This is Rodgers. Nice turn. Clattered into by Chalobah. Free kick. Yellow card for Chalobah, who has just sliced into Morgan Rogers there.
You lucky boy. Oh, he was off. That was straight-legged. That was through the ankle of Morgan Rogers. Just thinking if there was a fraction later, a fraction more force, Atmel may well have sent him off, because that was dangerous. That was reckless. It was maybe an orange at best for Chalobah.
There's a slight sense that Rodgers might have been off balance, might have been going down just at the instant before contact, which may work in Chalobah's favour. He is stretching Rodgers. You wouldn't say it's full control, but Chalobah comes down, plants his foot onto the boot of Morgan Rogers, and usually that's very much frowned upon by the officials. Chelsea need to freshen up their act here. They're about to bring on 2 attacking players. Liam Delap comes on, and Jamie Gittins as well. So attacking change for Enzo Maresca as he tries to recapture the dominance of this game. So Cucurella and Garnacho are the 2. Is it? No, hang on, they changed that. They've changed it. So Garnacho and João Pedro are the 2 who have changed. And Malo Gusto as well. So 3 to this. So Cucurella, Garnacho and João Pedro off. And Malo Gusto, Gittins and Delap are on. And when Villa made a big triple change, it had an instant impact. Let's see if Chelsea can benefit in a similar manner. Ollie Watkins onside because he was inside his own half. Inner on the back of Badiashile. Chalobah's coming across, has to be careful. Watkins in the area, gets a shot on target, and Sanchez made the save. Watkins, who's been so sharp since coming on.
Oh, that was brilliantly. Just to get the shot away, he had 2 players on him. Ran half a leg to the pitch with the ball. Caicedo's having to track back. Badiashile's being left for dead at times here. Chalobah coming across. Because he got the shot away through the legs of Chalobah, almost catches Sanchez out, but it's a really good save. But he's end-to-end now.
This is Gittins' first touch of the ball for him. 20 minutes to play. 5 live for the BBC, the Premier League. This is to the byline. Gittins, he's done well. That's his first involvement to the match, but he just slightly overstrikes the cross, and it comes across. It actually hits the corner flag on the other side of the pitch and goes out for a goal kick ultimately. So Chelsea 1, Villa 1. If you're just joining us on 5 Live, João Pedro with the goal of the first half. Ollie Watkins off the bench and within seconds making it 1-1 for Aston Villa in this second period, in a game that feels it's got a winning goal for 1 of them in it.
And at the moment, you're saying it's Villa. They've come up with an answer which was maybe staring them straight in the face, but it's something that they've managed to do, and the response has been there.
Chelsea getting ready to bring on Estevao, which always brings a little fizz of electricity around Stamford Bridge when he's on the field. This is Tielemans for Villa. Casado's going to be careful, leaning into Yuri Tielemans, and it's going to be a yellow card for him. Yellow card for Casado. Free kick for Aston Villa, 10 yards outside the penalty area. Central location. Chelsea have got to take a deep breath here and keep their calm. They've not had a good last 10 minutes of the game.
There's a yellow card for Delap, I think, in there as well, for arguing with Stuart Atwell, the referee. But Chelsea were dominant in the first half, stepping on, stepping in, and it's the first time we've seen Buddy Shields stepping off and back and really questioning himself. He just doesn't know whether he's coming or going now. The back line looks stretched, it looks all over the place. It's Aston Villa luring them in and having the movement and having the angles. It just looks like it's natural to them.
Cole Palmer's going to be hooked here to allow the introduction of Estevao. He's not happy about it, as you can imagine, Cole Palmer. So off he goes, but on comes Estevao. So in the space of the last couple of minutes, Chelsea have made 4 substitutions as they try to regain the momentum, trying to get that pendulum to swing back in their direction. Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 0. So confirmation, Casado and Delap both booked there, as Rob said. And play's going to get back underway with a free kick for Aston Villa, which, would you be tempted? Would you be tempted? It's a long way out, but it's central.
I would be tempted, but I shouldn't. But I'm not Morgan Rogers, am I?
I think he could take this on, you know. It's long out, but it's sort of, you remember Szoboszlai, Liverpool, Arsenal back in August. It's that sort of distance. It would need to be perfect, but the run of form that Morgan Rogers has been on lately, Aston Villa's top scorer this season, 6 goals in his last 6 league games. There's no decoy runner, there's no one else pretending they're going to hit this. It'll be Rogers or no one. Here he comes, Morgan Rogers, knuckleball, and it lands on the roof of the net. Not too far away, but Sanchez probably would have had it covered.
Well, the air of expectation at Stamford Bridge was, no matter how far out it was, he was going to trouble Sanchez, and he almost does. It's, as you said, Connor, a knuckle ball, and he's gone Sanchez's side, and they just put a 3-man Aston Villa wall up themselves, which caused the problem for Sanchez. He had to wait and back himself and just say, be brave, stand there and wait. And it was a nervous couple of seconds for him.
Still well over a quarter of an hour of normal time to play. 5 live at BBC Sounds at Stamford Bridge in West London. Nice festive feel to this game. It's been zippy, it's been fast all game. Game of 2 halves, really. Chelsea dominant in the first half. Villa been much better in the second period. Who's going to have the final say here as Onana drills it long in front of Ollie Watkins, who stretched up his leg as far as his hamstring would allow, but he couldn't stretch to control that one, and it goes out of play for a throw into Chelsea, right full back position, and for Reece James.
It's interesting, Connor, that when Marlon played up front, and we're used to him running off the shoulder off another striker or just round the... He didn't really do that. Ollie Watkins has done that immediately. As soon as they won the ball, he's just gone. And then Chalobah and Paddy Shield are just, where's he gone? We're looking for him. They were used to him, just a statue in front of them.
Here goes Gittins down the left wing for Chelsea. Good ball into Enzo Fernandez. He takes a tumble on the edge of the box. Free kick to Chelsea. The touch was outside the penalty area from Tielemans, I believe. Enzo Fernandez, who fell into the box, but it's going to be a free kick on the edge, and this is a dangerous position. Just while we wait for that free kick to get set up, a quick word on Cole Palmer, taken off again here. In a World Cup year, Rob, he hasn't completed 90 minutes in the Premier League since the opening weekend of the campaign, and that's got to be a concern for Thomas Tuchel and for Cole Palmer.
Well, he's got plenty of time, he's got plenty of games, there's plenty of football for Chelsea to play, and I think the main thing is that he keeps on playing. The season that he's had so far, what he doesn't want to do is do something which damages himself in the next 15 minutes or the last 20 minutes of the game, and as frustrating as it is for him and the nature of the game, the manner of the game, he needs to be managed. He's had too much so far this season that has gone wrong for him to say, fine, just crack on for the rest of the season.
Okay, free kick opportunity to Chelsea. Reece James, who scored a brilliant free kick at Newcastle last weekend, can he match that here? It's a good position for him. If you sort of allowed him, pick your spot. Where would you like to take the free kick from? It wouldn't be very far away from where this is placed. Pedro Neto's also standing there, but this looks tailor-made for the right foot of Reece James.
Yeah, it is a big wall in there. You've got Onana, Lindelof, another couple of other giants in there. You've got the draft excluder behind the wall so they can jump as well.
And you've got Emi Martinez on the goal line behind that wall. But Chelsea, who have the feeling that this game is slipping through their fingertips, can Reece James wrestle control back here? Here he comes, one step up, hits it into the giant wall, back to Reece James, to the left-hand side to Malo Gusto. Will it come back to James for a third time? No. Gusto does get another touch. Villa haven't been able to get it away. Konsa surely will do now. Tries to stab it clear. Controlled well by Ollie Watkins, still midway inside his own half. Malo Gusto wrestles it away from him again. There's a real fight to the game of the moment as Enzo Fernandez clatters into Matty Cash. And that's going to be a free kick for Aston Villa, but nobody's shirking out of those 50-50 challenges at the moment. Still Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 1 on 5 Live.
Yeah, the breakaway is so potent now with Ollie Watkins on the pitch, the form he's on, that he's shown since coming on, the willingness to run. And all of a sudden, as much as we saw it in the first half, there's a real gilt-edged nature to it that you're thinking, you get that one pass away, Aston Villa, you're in. Because Badiashile and Chalobah, they don't know whether they're coming and going right now.
Chelsea, who had 10 shots in the first half. I think they've only had one proper attempt in this second period, the Garnacho shot, and that was a long time ago now. Onana looks for a bit of space and he picks out Sancho on the far side. Jadon Sancho for Aston Villa against his former employers. Gives it back to Matty Cash, 10 yards inside his own half. Gittins runs in to close him down. Villa, knowing that their track record this season proves they can finish games strongly, they can come up with late winning goals. Can they repeat the trick here? Can they go 11 victories in a row in all competitions? 1-1 for the moment. Emi Martinez to Konsa, scoops it out to Matty Cash on the right hand side. Villa preparing to make another double substitution down there. Tiedemann stretches, but he's beaten to the ball from Moises Caicedo, who's so good at that. At Chelsea trying to hold on to possession, they do. There's a heavy challenge between two players. Referee says play on. Chelsea on the attack. Pedro Neto trying to get into a shooting position. Maatsen won't allow him to do so. Rodgers, oh, that was too casual for Morgan Rodgers, and Estevao is able to pick it up for Chelsea. Rodgers does well to sprint back and to make amends, albeit at the cost of a corner. Corner to Chelsea on the right hand side.
It's a really nasty tackle from Kamara. Stuart Atwell,
and he was shown a yellow card out. Yes,
he's let the game flow. I was just wondering whether there was really that much advantage on it, but did allow the game to go on. As much as Chelsea have had, their goal was from a corner.
Pedro Neto is going to take this one, and it's a very busy six-yard box, and it's hoisted in, and Martinez stretches and he reaches up those hands and he grabs the ball above his head, and that's good goalkeeping from Emi Martinez. Badiashile very unnecessarily runs up and pushes him. I'm not quite sure what he's achieved there. And then the referee started the countdown there. You know, this new initiative with not wasting time by the goalkeepers. He started visibly counting down his fingers there, and Martinez eventually cleared the ball away. And Watkins, who's been a real live wire since coming on for Aston Villa, has it here. Wide out on the right wing as his team come forward in this second half at Stamford Bridge. No one's heading for the exits early here. There's another try at the rugby to bring you up to date with his correspondent Chris Jones.
Bath haven't lost at home in the league in 14 months, Connor, but Northampton are on the verge of a stunning win. They played brilliant rugby this second half. Henry Pollock's got his second from a rolling maul. Bath 21, Northampton 33 with 13 minutes to go.
Thanks very much, Chris. 1-1 here at Stamford Bridge between Chelsea and Aston Villa on 5 Live. Just over 10 minutes of normal time to go. You'll remember that Aston Villa got a late winner against Arsenal earlier on this month. That was Emi Buendia. Last kick of the game, 95th minute, whatever it was. We've a long way to go till that sort of late drama. But this doesn't feel, as we've said before, it doesn't feel like a game that's going to finish 1-1. Let's see. Villa preparing to bring on Bogart and Luca Digne. And Unai Emery is furiously giving final instructions to both of them down on the touchline below. Chelsea have possession. Martinez gives it to Chalobah. He's come up with a few important goals himself this season, Trevor Chalobah. Reece James to Pedro Neto on the right wing. Back into Chalobah once again. The structure from Villa, the bit of width that the change of formation has afforded them, makes them a much tougher team to break through.
Yeah, they've just got the two players sitting now, and from that, Onana's such a good inclusion in there. his ability to get round and drop into the back line. He can pick up Moises Caicedo, and then when the play switch, he can come over to Estevao, who's tucked inside. So there's two channels blocked off by one.
Gittins, a little bit of space down the left wing. Cash struggling to keep up with him. Gittins into the penalty area. This is a really good dribble. Tries to shoot for the tight angle. Kamara makes the block. Ball still inside that penalty area that Aston Villa are defending. Enzo Fernandez picks it up here. Good close touch control from him. Gives it to Gittins. Tried to return the ball to Enzo Fernandez, and Cash is able to put it out for the corner. That was better from Chelsea. Corner, and Reece James is already trotting across to take it. 1-1.
Yeah, this is the corner. And previously Neto floated one in, so Martinez could come and claim it. Reece James got a bit more guile, a bit more whip and dip on it. Not quite got the bodies in there yet on Martinez. I can't see why you'd change it, seeing as though you've just scored one in the first half.
If it stays like this, it'll be 1 win in 6 Premier League games for Chelsea. As the corner comes in, and Onana at the front post heads it out, and that's going to be take 2. Another corner for Reece James on the far side. 9 minutes now of normal time to play.
These are horrible for a keeper. I never understood why you played out swingers, never understood why anyone played short corners. Just whip it in under the crossbar, under pressure.
Reece James, short run up as he likes to do. Needed more elevation. Matty Cash is able to clear the ball away. Straight back out to Reece James. Rolls it for Gittins, midway inside Aston Villa territory. Villa aren't pushing out anytime soon. They know this is coming straight back at them. Pedro Neto on the right-hand side, level with the edge of the penalty area that Chelsea attack. Gets it into a bit of space, swings it in. Lindelof hoists himself in the air to get the boot up there to cut the pass out, and now Maatsen tries to dribble away, but Enzo Fernandez stops him, and that goes out for a throw-in. Throw-in to Villa, left full-back position for them, and here come the 2 changes. Lamar Bogard and also Luca Digne coming on here, and Digne will go in at left back in place of Ian Maatsen, and we'll just see which number goes up for Bogard to enter the field. But Luca Digne, who has featured in all but one of Villa's Premier League games this season, it feels inevitable he was going to feature at some stage today, as Bogard gets ready to come on too. Lamar Bogard, just 3 starts in the Premier League this campaign, but this will be the 10th time that he has come on as a replacement in the league this season, and he comes on in place of Boubacar Kamara, who was booked, of course.
Yeah, just that tackle was the last he's going to have, but it's very much 2 like-for-like swaps, which are no great surprise for Aston Villa. You're thinking now, 8 minutes to go. A really well-earned point for them from...
Bogard's first touch is to lay the ball up to Ollie Watkins. One defender between him and the penalty area. Watkins takes on Badiashile, who lunges early. Watkins tries to pull it back for Sancho, and Chelsea get it out for a corner. Bogard almost with an instant impact there. Still 1-1, corner to Aston Villa.
I was just about to say a really well-earned point, but the potential to go on to do more, and it is there. Ollie Watkins has transformed this game. They looked without an answer, without a clue in the first half. 2 statues up front, and him alone now has caused more problem than Marlon and Morgan Rogers as 2 centre-forwards did in the whole of the first half.
I want to ask you a question about Onana and Watkins, but we're going to have to get a break in play for that to happen, and I'm not sure we're going to get a break in play the way this second half has gone. Corner to Aston Villa, swung in from the right-hand side, header from Watkins is in! 2 goals from Ollie Watkins! Are Villa going to make it 11 wins in a row? They've come from behind again! They keep doing it! The powers of resilience, the powers of recovery, as Aston Villa demand to be included amongst the title challengers of the Premier League this season. From 1-0 down, it's Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 2, and there's only 5 minutes to go.
Well, they've done it again, and it's Watkins again. He's dancing in front of the fans. The Aston Villa fans have gone wild. They can't believe it after the first half that they had. He's still pumping his fists in front of the fans. It's a brilliant header. Just climbs the highest 10 yards out, steers it perfectly. It's a fantastic corner, and it meets it brilliantly with his head into the side netting. They were all at sea in the first half. You didn't see where they were going to get an answer from. Well, go back to your original shape. Go back to your man, your centre forward, year after year, who's done it. Maybe not so much this year, but wow, what an evening for Ollie Watkins.
4 goals now in his last 4 visits here to Stamford Bridge for Ollie Watkins. Kept in reserve, almost rope-a-dope from Unai Emery. They absorbed the punches in the first half, but they've come out swinging in the second period. And I told you, Rob, there was definitely going to be another goal in this game.
Oh, they've grown in this second half. The belief after scoring, the belief of going back to the shape and playing in a comfortable way, getting your better players in the right areas where they want to.
Chelsea have had so many chances tonight. We mentioned at half-time, would it come back to bite them that they only scored 1 of them in the first half? This is Reece James trying to recapture some magic for his team. Gives it to Pedro Neto. 10 yards outside the penalty area, the Chelsea attack. 4 minutes of normal time to play. As Neto, no one's marking him here. Pedro Neto tries to shoot, and across comes Bogart to make a very important block, and the ball ricochets all the way down to the other end of the field and to the possession of Robin Sanchez. Oh, it's a nervy finish now. Chelsea, a game that they led for so long, they're now trying to scramble an equaliser. Gittins plays it across way too high in his less favoured right boot, and the wolf whistles from the Villa fans and the groans from the Chelsea fans. And is this to be another disappointing day for Enzo Maresca? There's been some flashes of real brilliance from Chelsea today, but some of the old problems still linger.
Yeah, you're looking at it and all of a sudden it went from being consummate and in control in the first half when they were on top, stepping forwards. When they get asked a question, they really haven't come up with an answer. They revert to step back, get the ball out wide, step inside onto the inverted winger and cross it in, when realistically Konsa and Lindelof have dealt with most things. And other than that, you're wondering, that first half where they had all those chances, we knew that they'd come to cost them, but it was a corner. It was a fortunate goal in some respects that they did score. They haven't put him away at all.
What a story that is brewing at Aston Villa this season. They are 3 points as it stands behind Arsenal. They're on the attack again. Tielemans into the penalty area to Jadon Sancho, tried to catch the keeper out of the near post, and Sanchez was able to get across. I don't know if there was a deflection off a defender there, but he seemed to have to really scramble, and he's pushed it out for the corner.
Yeah, it was a deflection. It was a good save. That's 3 or 4 saves Sanchez has had to do in the second half, and he barely touched the ball in the first half. It's been an astonishing turnaround in this game. You just looked at how Chelsea dominated in the first half. It's just there go. It could have been 3 or 4 up easily.
Can you hear what the Aston Villa fans are singing? Can anyone believe us? We're going to win the league. Well, if they beat Arsenal in 3 days from now, they would go level with the league leaders. It's just an incredible story. Is this to be victory number 11 in a row for a team that started the campaign so poorly? Now they've got a swagger. Sancho sends it one side of Esteban, runs around the other, tries to deliver the cross and wins a corner for his team. Villa, dare I say, they're enjoying themselves now. A few party pieces there for Jadon Sancho. Might be a bit early for that.
Now you're looking around the Chelsea body language. Players, you're thinking, I don't see where the answer's coming from in the blue shirt. We were wondering in the first half where it was coming from. Well, it came from the bench for Villa in this second half.
Villa have had more goals off the bench this season than any other Premier League team. Tielemans tries to drill one low into the box there, but Sanchez, now Sanchez fell out of his penalty area in possession of the ball. Oh, this is a strange one. He's running the way keepers do to bowl the ball. He slips and he's still handling the ball as he slides out to the penalty area. I'm glad we've got a goalkeeping expert alongside. What's the ruling here, Rob Green? I don't think I've ever seen that before.
This is something I've never seen either, Connor.
Wow.
He runs, he does it a lot where you're thinking release the ball quick because you're getting right to the edge of the box, and he just changes his mind at the last second. I think he's really fortunate not to see a red card here.
So
just it's a deliberate handball in essence. He's had the ball in his hands all the way.
He's had the ball in his hands. He slips. He definitely still has it in his hands when he's outside the penalty area. So he's handled outside the box. First and foremost, a free kick. But I think he's going to get the mercy here that the word deliberate, he didn't deliberately mean to slip out. Mind you, hang on. I'm not sure Hamill was walking over to him. He wasn't. He was walking out to do the spray for how far back the wall is going to be. I've never seen that before. He slides out of the penalty area, still holding the ball.
It's incredible because you just feel it. That I think Stuart Atwell's done well in to say common sense rules.
Yeah, I agree.
What would what's the most common sense answer here? Because no one really expected that. It was just bizarre.
Usually a goalkeeper handles outside the box, it's a big deal. There is a leniency here because of the incredibly unusual situation that led to it. Anyway, Villa still get a free kick in a really dangerous position. This is right on the edge of the penalty area. And Luca Digne, we know, can hit them. Rodgers, of course, can hit them. Villa already in front. We're in stoppages. There are 5 minutes being added on. Here it comes. Luca Digne crashes it in, and it's saved by Sanchez. It went through the wall, but Sanchez was able to make the save. And now Jadon Sancho tries to hold on to possession on the left wing for Aston Villa. They just got to keep it up this end of the field now. Malo Gusto heads it down. Now Chelsea are the ones who can't hold on to possession. Villa turning the screw. There's a late try in the rugby. Here's Chris Jones.
Bath fans flocking out of the Rec corner. They've been well beaten at home. Their first defeat here since October last year. 14 months, another Saints try. They've been awesome today, the visitors. Tommy Freeman hat-trick. Bath 21, Northampton 41. Couple of minutes to go.
Thanks very much, Chris, here at Stamford Bridge. What a turnaround in fortune it's been. Chelsea brilliant in the first half, leading at half-time, but have seen it completely upended because Ollie Watkins has come off the bench for this incredible Aston Villa team, who are on the cusp of an 11th win in a row. Watkins has scored 2 goals to turn it around. Malo Gusto swings in across too close to Emi Martinez, and he lands on the ground, and he'll try and eat up every second he can on the clock here as he slowly gets back to his feet. And Villa are almost there. 2 minutes already elapsed of the 5 being added on. Rob Green.
Yeah, and it's enough for the Chelsea fans. Hundreds of them leaving around the ground. They've seen this a lot this season. Normally in the first half, you're thinking, where is the performance in the first half of Chelsea? Well, it's where it's been in the second half, because they've had no answer to what was been a brilliant turnaround from Aston Villa. We've seen them do it before. We've seen them do it in however many games in this recent run, but I think this tops a lot.
Yeah, and a personal turnaround for Ollie Watkins too. Coming into this month, he'd only scored 1 goal in the Premier League all season. Now he's got 5. So his season beginning to take off. Estevao, great trick, taking on Luca Digne into the penalty area. Can Chelsea get the equaliser? Tries to tee up Liam Delap, who's been toothless since coming on. Delap can't get the shot away. Too many Villa defenders back there, but Villa can't clear, and Chelsea get a throw in, and there's no time to waste as Reece James takes it quickly. 5 live at BBC Sounds. Reece James flicks the ball up onto the arm of Morgan Rodgers. He wants a free kick. Referee says proximity means it's not a handball, and now Reece James is roaring at the 4th official about it. And he's got to be careful here. He's got to be really careful. He put his fingers up to his eyes in the sort of unique glasses motion there to the 4th official. And Reece James is probably fortunate that he doesn't get a card for that. As Chelsea get it back in the midfield, but Caicedo has fouled Tielemans, and the tempers are bubbling over here because Chelsea are almost out of time. Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 2. Yellow card shown to Enzo Fernandez.
Frustration all around for Chelsea. Aston Villa do not care one jot. Enzo Fernandez is now pushing Konsa. He's got to watch himself on a couple of fronts there. 1, he's already been booked, and 2, it's Konsa. You know, not sure I want to be doing that, but
while we got the break of play, the question I wanted to ask you about Watkins and Onana, and managers will always say the next game is the only one that matters, and we're only thinking about the next game. However, given this festive period, the proximity, knowing 3 days from now Arsenal, do you think in the calculations was, okay, rather than they play here and they're tired in the latter stages, let's start without them here, and then they can play the full game at Arsenal, or you know, can you afford to think that far ahead?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, and you'd say that must be the thinking, because they're 2 of the better players, obviously. At the same time, I don't think Unai Emery would have turned around and said, let's be hopeless in the first half and turn it around.
I don't think he thought they'd be quite as poor without them. So Luca Digne here has done well on the edge of the penalty area, but he can't pick out a teammate. Villa looking for a 3rd goal of the night. Enzo Fernandez clears the ball away. By the way, speaking of that Arsenal-Villa game, which is going to be a big one now in midweek, Matty Cash and Boubacar Kamara will both be suspended for that match. They picked up yellow cards in this game today, so there's going to be some sort of a rejig needed there regardless. The 5 minutes are pretty much up. There's only seconds of those remaining. The referee at his discretion can add a bit more. Reece James, I think, gets a yellow card there.
No.
I'm not sure. The yellow card was certainly shown. We'll confirm who was shown to. Play on anyway. Lindelof backtracking. Plays it to the goalkeeper Martinez. Villa fans sending shrill whistles into the night. They want this to be all over. Badiashile leans into Ollie Watkins, but he doesn't foul him. Chelsea have the ball, but they need it down the other end. They're almost out of time. Chelsea were dominant in this match for so long. Who held the lead for so long? Are they about to lose again? Enzo Fernandez still inside his own half. They can't get it forward, Chelsea. Really good pressure there from Bogan. And there is the final whistle. And it's all over. And Aston Villa's fairy tale season is continuing here. It's 11 wins in a row in all competitions. Unai Emery's team have only lost once in the league since August. For a long time here today, Rob Green, it looked like they might well lose this one. That's an incredible turnaround. That's the sort of thing that teams in a title race are able to achieve. They've beaten Chelsea 2-1.
What a response, what an answer, what a night for Ollie Watkins. He's embraced by his teammates. Emi Buendia is jumping on his back. The Villa fans can't quite believe it. Chelsea fans are stunned. It's been an incredible second half performance for what was an insipid first half performance by Aston Villa. It was something that at half time you had no idea how they would come into this, given that they were so poor in the first half. But they managed to come back with a wonderful answer, and the story just keeps on rolling for Aston Villa.
Well, the top of the table, where Arsenal, Manchester City, Liverpool all won today, but Aston Villa winning as well. So Arsenal 42 points, Manchester City on 40, Aston Villa breathing down their necks on 39. And as we've been mentioning, Villa go to play Arsenal next. That is going to be fireworks. Ollie Watkins with the goals. His season beginning to take shape. He's played well all campaign, but the goals are now beginning to flow the way we are used to seeing from Ollie Watkins. For Chelsea, though, 1 win in 6 of the Premier League. This is worrying for Enzo Maresca.
Yeah, it's that horrible feeling again. 12 months ago, it was exactly the same. A stuttering December and then a stumble, and you're feeling it's all over again. And again, much like last week in the first half against Newcastle, you're thinking, where's your response? Where's your answer? In the second half, there was no response to Villa turning it around. Their upturn in energy, their upturn in running behind them. They just didn't have a tactical change. They didn't have an answer to what was a dramatic turnaround from Aston Villa.
The Villa players are celebrating in front of their travelling supporters. These Villa fans delirious at how their team has done it again. It's another game that they've been behind in, but they never down tools. The heads never drop, and they've been able to turn it around to win again. And another away win. 5 away wins in a row now for Unai Emery. First time Villa have done that in his time at the club. Nobody's going to want to take on Villa at the moment, Rob.
Well, Tuesday's going to be an epic game, isn't it? You just realise now that Villa aren't going to go away. They will not go away in the 90 minutes, despite being as poor as they were. They just didn't go away. And I think Tuesday, they're going to turn around and say, well, we're not going to go away from this. We're not going to shirk this. They rode their luck, but they've come up with an answer again.
Aston Villa continuing their celebrations as the players make their way to the tunnel. Ollie Watkins the hero. Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 2 here.